don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. It's Wednesday. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and you know what you got to do. You got to like this video, you got to share this video, and you got to go to Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell. That way you don't have to worry about missing any content. You know when it comes out. Guys, look, got an awesome show for you today. Today is all about All Pro Wrestling, APW, out of Marianna, Arkansas. But before we get that going, look, this Saturday night, Campbell, Missouri, American Hostile Championship Wrestling returns to Campbell. Got a big show. So let's just watch this, and then we'll come back.
Catch all the hard-hitting action of American Hostile Championship Wrestling as they make their return to Campbell, Missouri, February 8th, 2025. That's at the Community Center, located on Highway 62. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is 7:30. Superstars such as Bullwhip Ballard, the Missouri Heavyweight Champion, Savage Brotherhood, the King Superstar Johnny Dotson, Justin Main Event along with Miss Hyde, Legitimately Too Good, Steel Cross, Austin the Reaper Polo, and making his very first appearance for American Hostile Championship Wrestling, Lionel Gilks III. All that, February 8th, 2025, Campbell, Missouri. Be there.
All right, guys, you see it right there. That's this Saturday night. Campbell, Missouri. Last time American Hostile was there, had an awesome crowd. If I remember right, before the doors even opened, there was 150, 200 people outside waiting. As soon as the doors opened, people just flooded in. I'll be there on commentary with my broadcast partner, ring announcer extraordinaire, Alan Pounds. You heard Mark Manley, owner and promoter of American Hostile, plugging the talent. Bullwhip Ballard, the Missouri Heavyweight Champion. Going to be taking on my guy, yeah, buddy. Lionel Gilks. Should be one hell of a matchup. The King Superstar, Legitimately Too Good. Justin Main Event, Miss Hyde. You name it, they're going to be there. You don't want to miss it. But tonight it's all about APW, guys. And I got one more thing I need to do. I'm a little off tonight, guys. Just so y'all know, man, my whole crew up here is sick. I've been sick all week. I'm always the last one to get it. And it started hitting me yesterday, and I've been sick all day. Almost canceled, but I said, oh, fuck all that shit. We're here. We're going to do this podcast. I've been looking forward to it. But before we get started, let me promote my upcoming podcast, and then I'll quit boring y'all, and we'll get Ricky Kennedy out here and get this thing underway.
Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody and stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression,
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes.
All right, guys, you seen it right there. Got some awesome podcasts coming up. Here in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go on and start adding Aprils and Mays. Maybe Junes. I don't know, man. They're coming fast. I'm going to add more. But tonight, it's all about All Pro Wrestling, man. This is a company out of Marianna, Arkansas. It's owned and founded by Rickey Kennedy. And just let me say this before I bring Rickey on. Man, this is absolutely one of the very best, most professional, well-organized professional wrestling companies around our area. Let me repeat that. One of the very best, most professional, well-organized wrestling companies around the Mid-South area. Guys, without any further ado, like I said, let's get the man himself out here, Rickey Kennedy. Rickey.
What up, Buster?
What's up, man?
Nah, man, just a long, long day at work.
I hear you. Look, Mark McGee was already on here with us before we even got going. Mark, I'm glad you're in here, man. I appreciate you watching. He's already back. Says solid lineup of shows coming on, and that's the truth, dude. Man, Rickey, here.
I seen a lot of them just a second ago. I'm wanting to watch that kid named Tavon Jordan. That kid's got an upside.
Oh yeah, man. He is. He's one of these guys out there. There's a few of them. He's a multi-talented dude. He not only does wrestling, man, he makes music.
Right.
I'm pretty sure his intro music is original, made by him.
Right.
He's a talented young man.
I seen him one night. He come to a seminar that Dotson had Jerry Lynn in on one Saturday morning over in Memphis, and that kid was there. And the first thing I done was just started watching. I was like, this kid, he's got the knack for it. He's there for it.
Yeah, no, he's a cool kid. He's actually been on before when TriStar Wrestling was running, but he was on with some other guys. This time I got him back. He got the whole show. We're gonna really learn about Tavon, and I'm looking forward to that show. PK Ripper's with us. PK Ripper TV says, "What's up? What's up, PK? Glad you're watching, man." So Rickey, the first thing, we got a lot to talk about. We got a line of talent we're going to talk about from APW. You got some upcoming shows. You had a training seminar that I really want to talk about here in just a few minutes. But before we get started with that, a few months ago, I had the privilege, the honor and the privilege to come into West Memphis, Arkansas for the Smitty. Man, let me just say this to you right here, right now that I got you on. I didn't know what to expect. I knew what I'd heard. I knew the show was going to be good. I knew it would be a well-run show. But, dude, I got there and I was blown away with the organization of the show, the professional look of everything, the talent. Here's the thing. When talent has a good leader, they'll do anything for them. And the first thing I noticed was, man, your talent, when you said, hey, Buster's here, if he wants to get an interview with you or something, dude, everybody was like, whatever, man, I'm up for anything. Whatever Rickey says do, we do. And that says a lot about you and your company, man, because that's hard to find in the wrestling business. There's a ton of wrestling promoters, but there's not a ton of wrestling promoters that really care about their talent, their wrestlers, and their community, and that's a big thing with APW, man. Look, dude, I had a blast at the Smitty, dude. I had an absolute blast, my friend.
Well, first thing I want to say thank you once again because you come and made it a million times better than anything that I could have ever done. I just when it comes to my group, I'm just like, hey guys, this is what I expect. I expect you to treat other people accordingly, just like you want to be treated. If you want to act a fool, go on. I don't need you. And
Right.
I tell them straight to their face. Saturday night we had a match that I didn't really care for, and we just let it blow over Saturday night. And last night I sat in my chair and I typed out a big long message to them, and I told them what I didn't like, why we shouldn't have done this, why we shouldn't have done that, and we go in there as a team, we come out as a team, and I expect all of us to work as a team. And not everywhere you go you're gonna find people that are professional. And
Right.
if my guys are not professional on any level, I'll tell them right to their face, I don't need you. I want you here, but if you're not going to act like I need you to, then I don't really need you. And for the most part, 99% of them, man, I can ask them to do anything. I've got a few guys that I can say, man, get up on top of the building and jump off the building, and man, they'll climb right on up there and hop right off. And I just think that comes with me being honest with them, me being upfront with them, telling them up front, like, this is not no grab ass games. I'm not here to be your friend and all that. I'm here to show you how to do this, put you in positions for you to grow and try to get you to a successful level. And
Right.
a lot of them see that, and a lot of them come in there wanting to get better. And every Thursday and Sunday, dude, we're training. And I'm not there every Thursday because I'm at work, but 9 times out of 10, on Sundays when I'm there, man, I can stop whatever they're doing. I stop it and I tell them this, and this, or that, and this, and man, they clean it up just like that. It's remarkable, the group I have. I've got to brag on them as much as I give them their cons. I got to give them their pros too. They're a good group.
Yeah, man, I was impressed with all of the talent, man. Not just in the ring, but just the way they carried themselves, the way they. Here's the thing. Every single guy that works for a wrestling company is a reflection of that wrestling company.
Absolutely, it is.
And so every single guy needs to hold themselves and every other wrestler, just like you need to hold them up to a certain standard that, look,
Right.
this is what we are, this is what we do, and this is what we want to present to people.
Right.
And dude, I thought, man, and it goes back to having a good leader. It's hard to find a wrestling promoter as a talent that you can trust.
Right.
When
right.
you find a wrestling promoter that not only cares about promoting great shows, but cares about you as a talent, and I can tell with your guys, most of them, probably all of them, y'all have a personal connection too. You not only care about them as a talent, you care about what's going on in their real lives. And that's hard to find in the wrestling business, man.
Yeah, a lot of promoters or bookers just want to book the person and make them some money. You know what I mean? Here, man, I actually do care for a lot of them. And I just last week, man, I had somebody reach out to me and ask me for a favor. And man, I didn't hesitate one bit, because I know if I ever need a favor, that person that called me would never hesitate to come help me.
Right.
And I know some people's going to frown on this and look at it, but man, some of my guys don't even take a PO. They tell me to put it right back in APW so we can continue doing what we're doing on a pretty comfortable level.
Right, man. That says a lot. That really says it all. When
Absolutely.
wrestlers are willing to give their money right back to you to put into the company, that means they care about your company. They care about you. They care about their future, because, I mean, these guys, especially the core group of APW is their future right now.
Right. And when I started APW, and I tell all of them this, like, when you guys start wrestling, you're not going to get chances to get on shows. You're not going to get chances to do this or that, inside the wrestling business. And I told them, I said, this is what APW is for. We learn. I have the shows. You guys get to work the shows. I said, you get experience from this.
Right.
For one, a kid that's 9 months in, there's some of them a year in and still ain't had a match. But a kid 9 months in, he's not going to get a match at a quality show with somebody that he can learn something with.
Right.
He's going to go to say you're going to go to Monroe, Arkansas, and work Jimmy the oil man that just got off the tractor that don't know anything. And I don't want that for my guys, and I don't think it's fair for them to have to go somewhere and somebody look at them and be like, "What is this? Where'd you come from?" You know what I mean? I want the experience level to already be there when they do start going out and getting bookings, and people be like, "Oh dang, look at here! I'm gonna give this kid a chance. Look how he's dressed. Look how he carries himself. How he handles himself. The whole 9 yards." And some of these guys I see out, it baffles me the way they dress. It baffles me the way that they carry themselves and the way a lot of people will message me want to get booked at APW, and a lot of times I go to their Facebook profile and I look at it and I'm just like,
I'm glad you said that. Look, before I get on this, Poker Face TV's with us. He's a big fan of you, Ricky. He says, "Go to hell, Ricky."
Me and Poker talk weekly. Most of the time daily. I trust a lot of what Poker tells me, and I got a feeling that Poker trusts a lot of what I tell him because like I say, me and him have conversations all the time about different things, just from comedy shows to wrestling to drinks to food to, him just being a complete moron, so.
I know Poker knows wrestling, he knows alcohol, and he knows cigars, man.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact, dude.
Yeah. Well, and the sad thing is he don't know a wrist lock from a wrist watch, as Jim Cornette would say.
I bet you Poker would beg to differ with that, man.
He would. I bet he's cussing right now with that stupid cigar in his mouth.
Oh, he's got that cigar, and is it that little... I've seen lately, he's been on some lives, and he got this little shot glass. Looks like it's a set of titties or something. Yeah, it's either titties or ass. It's a titties or a woman's ass. I don't know which.
It ain't nothing but apple juice in it. He can't handle his liquor. I love you, Poker.
I'm glad you mentioned young guys and young talent, because that's a topic we want to talk about today. Everybody's got opinions about who's the top up-and-coming young talent around this area or anywhere, but mainly around this area for us. Man, you as a promoter or owner, talk to me about some of the talent you see out there that you believe are some of the top up-and-coming young talent around our area, dude.
Man, the first one that sticks out to me, and it's a lot that everybody sees, is Austin Mulatalo. That kid has got it. Like, he's just got the aura about him. Just the hair. That stupid fur coat that I love so much that he's got.
That he stole from Reggie B. Fine.
Right. He's got a big infectious smile. He's got a good look. He comes from the military. He's got some foundation behind him, some structure in his life. He understands how to handle business. Well-spoken kid, very, very, very humble too. He's got well manners. He is well mannered like none other. Yes sir, no sir. And I told him one day, I was like, man, you say yes sir one more time, and I'm just gonna punch you in the jaw. I'm not that old. But
that's drilled into him from the military, though, man.
As it should be. And it's not a knock on him for doing it. It's just one of them deals to where I'm only 46 and you're saying yes sir to me. Now I get it. If my daughter don't say yes ma'am or no ma'am or yes sir or no sir, I'm gonna pop her too. But at the same time, there some of us are on a friendly level. You don't have to call me sir.
Right.
That's like you. You would never have to call me sir. But that's the kind of person he is, and he's gonna go a long way on the values that was instilled in him. From where he came from. From his household to the Harley race training deal. The whole 9 yards, he's gonna go far. He's a good kid.
And here's the biggest. He's got all the attributes, everything you need. Plus, he's got that drive. He understands that if you really want to make it in this business, you got to put yourself in the places where things are happening at, where guys 100%. Are getting discovered from. And that's one thing I love about that dude more than anything else. And I think out of all of the talent we have around this area, You've got him. He's one of the guys, man. He shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't even see when he has time to work his shoot job half the time because, I mean, he's at all the smaller shows and
Right.
all the bigger shows.
Yeah, he's got it going on. He's got it figured out. The path is laid in front of him. All he's got to do is just grind it out, make it happen. And I mean, big things are coming for him.
Look, Poker Face says I'm looking like Don Bass. So we know Austin. Give us another one out there, man, that you think is a can't miss prospect, dude.
Man, and they didn't miss on him, and it's Aaron Roberts. You know, dude, I've watched Aaron for a long time. I don't know him, never spoke a word to him, never even shaken his hand, but I've watched him for a long time. And dude, Aaron Roberts is, and I'm gonna tell you the due diligence that Aaron Roberts gets. And I knew this, man, when Buck was going up to Cape Championship Wrestling up in where's that at? Where was Cape Girardeau, Missouri?
Cape Girardeau.
One night Buck worked Aaron, and we got in the car to go home, and Buck looked at me and he said, "That's the best guy I worked around here since I've been back home." You know,
and that's a big compliment because Buck's a guy.
Absolutely, it is because Buck's good. You know,
right? I made a list a couple months ago about guys I thought were top prospects for the ID program. And did I even put Buck on it? I don't remember if I did, because Buck's a guy that I think maybe he's one of these few guys that if they go to focusing in on him, I think maybe he's past an ID contract. I think he's one of the guys around here that would probably get offered a full-blown developmental deal.
Right. Well, and you know, Buck's one of the kind, he don't quit. Everywhere he goes, he's trying to find somewhere to train, you know. I talked to him the other day, and he's like, man, he said, I'm at so-and-so place, and I'm trying to get into a gym, you know, right here to try to keep training and working out. And, you know, he's made some contacts, and he's ready to go, you know, like he's still at it every day, 2 or 3, 4 times a day sometimes, you know. And I talked to him today. He said, man, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to work out. And he's added some mass. He's added some muscle, and, you know, he's toned up, and Buck's one of the top 3 around here too.
Oh yeah, the only thing about Buck, he really only works at APW around here.
Well, Buck is one of these cats that he's not just gonna. I call him ring whores. He's not gonna ring whore every ring to get into.
And you know, I agree with that, dude. That's something that I fully agree with.
Right.
Here's the thing: there's this big thing about guys working all these shows around here. Okay. You as a promoter, your guys you're running Mariana, somebody's running Marvel, somebody else is running West Helena, somebody's running Hughes. Do you really want your guys working all these shows?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to ever tell them you can't go work here. You can't go work there. You're not working for this person because of this person.
Right.
I was going to tell my guys, like, here's the pros of going to do this, and here's the cons of going and doing this. And it's not a knock on the other company. That's just straight facts.
Yeah, I had Nix on, and she told me straight up, and I don't even know if this was on the podcast. This might have been before or after, before we went on, but she told me that she pretty much, any new booking that comes across her table that she hadn't worked there before, she hits you up with it and wants to know if you know anything about it and what's your thoughts on it, man.
And you know, a lot of times she's another one that, you know, that's got all the potential in the world. You know, she calls me, messages me all the time, and she'll just ask for my you know, my thoughts on things. You know. What do I think about this situation? Can I get some advice on this? Can I get some advice on that? You know, and that's what I expect out of my people when they're in a tough spot. Man, I don't care if it's whether you're in a tough spot to buy Dr. Pepper or Sprite.
Right.
You know what I mean? If there's a problem and I can help you with it, I'm with it, you know. And she is great about calling me or, you know, messaging me or whatever, and she'll say, boss man, I got this person that contacted me, and I look at him like, no, stay away from that. Or I'll be like, yes, get your feet wet, go do it, you know, yada, 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 see what you think about it, you know. She's also one of the kind that listens to what I tell her. You know what I mean? It don't go in this ear and right out the other.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff in the wrestling world is real life. Is the same thing you would handle in real life. You know,
Right.
situations in real life. If I own a small business, I'm going to run it the same way I'm going to run a wrestling company. I want some
Right.
character and integrity on the front end of my business. If I own a convenience store, I don't want the person working the cash register out front, the front door with their foot propped up on the wall smoking a cigarette. Go out back, smoke your cigarette. You know what I
Right.
mean? That
Right. I
looks
agree.
tacky, you know. So
Ricky, let me ask you something right quick before we go any further. Can you go to your StreamYard settings and go to the echo cancellation?
Yeah.
Try that, man. Me and Tommy Jacks had the same issue. I can hear myself echoing, and I'd never figured out how to do it before, and he did it. He went to his StreamYard, and he went to his echo because I put mine on, and when he hit echo cancellation, it cut all that out, dude.
all right, let's try it.
And I 100% agree with you on Aaron Roberts, man. I'll be honest with you. I overlooked him. It ain't that I overlooked him. He just growed up here, been here forever. I just didn't expect him to be the guy. I figured it was going to be Bosby, truthfully.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it was back in the Vince McMahon era, it might have very well been Bosby because that's the type of dudes he likes.
Yeah. Well, the first person I guess was Draco, you know.
Dude, I got Draco coming on here, I think, in March, and man, he has highly impressed me over the last 6 or 8 months, man.
I heard a promo that he done with Gio, and that just turned me on to him right there. I just automatically was like, dang, this dude here's got it. Like, he can talk. I believe the emotion coming out of his mouth, you know.
And that's important. That's what I feel about Aaron too. I feel like we all knew he was good in the ring already, but it's like, man, his character is off the charts now, man.
Man, the first time I ever seen Aaron Roberts wrestle, and I don't remember exactly where it was, but I remember seeing Aaron Roberts wrestle one night. And the first thing I thought of, I said, man, if they couldn't have got Bam Bam Bigelow and Rick Steiner in the same outfit, I said, this dude's a gremlin, like he's a dog.
Right.
And then I was like, dude, he moves like Bigelow, you know, and he's got that one-man gang persona like y'all talked about. And, dude, it's just, dude, he's impressive.
Yeah,
you know?
He is, man. He is.
And I will say this, and he wears a shirt.
He wears a
seen
shirt.
all that, yeah. He wears a shirt.
And before we get into that, Mr. 901, Tommy Jacks is with us as a yellow, folks. Tommy, I'm glad you're watching, man.
Good evening, Tommy.
Glad you're checking us out. PK's back. He said, sounds good out here. I'm still hearing a slight echo, but it's not as bad as it was.
It may be this room I'm in.
And I'm hyped up on ibuprofen, too, man. I took about 6 ibuprofens before we did this dang thing. And man, Draco, like I said, over the past probably 6 or really over the past 6 really months. I've had my eye on him a while, but man, he has just come on so much. And I'll be honest with you, dyeing his hair blonde, I think that for me, it set him off. That it was done then. I was already in on him, but when he dyed his hair blonde, man, it gives him a whole different attitude almost.
Right, I agree. Man, I enjoy anything I see Draco with a microphone in his hand, I'm going to watch it just so I can feel that I guess that would make that the feeling he makes me feel when I hear him talk, you know, because I believe it, you know.
Right.
I really enjoy him. I really do.
And that's the key thing is being able to make that connection with your audience. You can be the greatest wrestler in the world, but if you can't make that connection, it don't matter. Kurt Angle would have only been so good if he hadn't had the it factor, that personality that connected with the audience. Right. He's funny. He could do everything. That Olympic background was only going to go so far in this business.
Right.
And I'm with it, man. I have to believe guys. I want to feel guys
100%.
when they talk.
Yeah.
So we got Aaron Roberts. We got Draco. Who else? Who'd we start with?
We started with Mulatalo.
Austin Mulitalio, or there I'm fucking his name up again. I butchered it, man. So, but obviously Buck, man. Like I said, I feel like Buck. I feel like when they really focus in on Buck, I feel like he's probably gonna get a deal. I just do. I feel like he's been out. He's worked enough big shows. I feel like they're looking at him on a different level. If they're looking at him.
He was in Austin a few weeks ago when Raw was there. SmackDown. What was in Raw or SmackDown? It was SmackDown. He was there that night, and they basically told him what they wanted from him, and those kind of things. And I hate pulling that curtain back a little bit, but at the end of the day, man, I'm proud of the big fella. When he come back home and he started coming into APW before we even created APW, it's Buck's fault. Buck's one of the reasons why APW is even created. Is him telling me we got to build that building's big enough for that ring to fit in, and I argued with him. Next thing I know, I got a ring in a building, and next thing I know, we're doing stuff. So, yeah, but Buck's he's got a bright future ahead of him, dude. And I don't like telling his business, but at the same time, I'm proud of the big fella. He's the son I've never had, is the way I look at it. And he's another one that calls me, hey man, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
I'll be honest with you. I think when Bluff City first started, I think they really dropped the ball with Buck, man. From day one, man, I would have been pushing that guy. I would have been made sure he's a guy that you can put out on your poster and say, come see this dude here. Come see Buck Skinner.
He's an attraction.
That's right. He's an attraction. And I thought they had there was that opportunity, man. He could have been the franchise, but now we know Buck probably wasn't going to be able to stay around like they would have needed him to either. Now he's out doing other stuff that he couldn't turn down for any show around here. He couldn't turn down New Japan or any of this for any of the shows here, man.
He's even got some other stuff going on right now, and I'll let him, announce all that or whatever's going to happen. But dude, he's churning the wheel. I'll tell you that.
I like him. We talked just a second at the Smitty.
Yeah.
But I've talked to him on Messenger because I tried to get him on the podcast a couple of times, and he was on it. He just said, look, man, he said, that's just not me right now. I'm not ready to go on and give everything out, and I understand that, man. I told him, I said,
he's a very secretive guy. No, I won't say secretive. He's a very hush-hush guy. He's, I could call him right now and say, hey, man, I just buried $10 million in my backyard. Anything ever happens, go get it. And he'll never tell anybody. It'd be, he would keep that to himself and stuff. So, Buck's good people, and he comes from good people.
So anybody else out there that you really got your eye on that you think is
And I've got one that works for me, which of course he's not an APW product, but he's a product of what APW stands for. His name's William Blackwell. He's out of the Little Rock Conway area. Not a lot of people know him, on this side of the river over here. A lot do. William Blackwell is a very, very technical, awesome dude. Blackwell's the type a Billy Robinson type guy,
Right.
Great gimmick, man. He's trying to go to England and wrestle more. He's been once this past year, and he's wanting to go more and do more things over there. And he's got a deal in Little Rock called Tack Wrestling.
Dude, at Vino's.
Yes.
I love that. Look, I've never been, but the venue, man, it's tight. Everybody's right on the ring. It looks like it's got the greatest atmosphere, man.
And there's a lot of times me and him talk about stuff, things to do, and we bounce ideas off of each other and stuff like that. And he tells me what he thinks could make something better. And awesome dude. He's a worker. When they show up, and you've seen it firsthand in West Memphis.
That's what I was going to say.
When him and Grayson Beckett and Tyler Fox get there, they'll able to get there at 12 or 12:30, and they will work out with each other until I make them get out of the ring.
Dude, that's one of the things I was highly impressed with your show too. These shows I go to, man, these guys, one thing I liked about them, he was in there running drills by himself. He wasn't in there. They wasn't collaborating. They wasn't working out their match. And I see this a lot, dude. I see these guys that are going to be wrestling each other that night in the ring before the show, talking to each other and associating and kind of working through whatever they might be going to do, even up until after fans are starting to come in. And man, in my head, I'm thinking, they lucky this ain't my show.
Right.
Because that's something you don't do. I ain't got no problem with you getting in there and working out as long as them doors are closed. The minute that door comes open, before it comes open, y'all need to get on back to the dressing room. If you want to work out, get there early enough.
Absolutely.
If we're opening the doors at 6:30, I want your ass out of that ring by 6:15 or 6:20.
Right. Well, I normally tell them, in a message before the show, like, hey, do all the training you want in the ring, working out, whatever you want to do. Doors open at 6. I expect the ring to be clear by 5:50 and swept out.
And that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
And I was impressed with him because, like I said, I see these guys in there working out with each other that are going to wrestle each other. And he wasn't doing it. He was in there just going through drills by himself, just working out, man. And I was impressed with that, dude. I was highly impressed. And, I've mentioned the list. I made the ID list. And I seen your comment where you said him and somebody else, I don't remember who else it was, you said they should be on everybody's list. And the reason they wasn't on my list, because that was absolutely my first time seeing him live. And I've seen him a few times on film, but not enough to really know nothing about him.
Right.
And that, honestly, I probably could have, there was probably 25 other guys that could have made the list. But for either I didn't know enough about them to really feel confident to put my name on them. But he's one of the guys I am dying to see more of his work and stuff, because I agree with you, man. England would be a great place for that guy. From what I've seen from him, his style of wrestling, tailor-made for going to England. Right.
And, man, he come to that training camp and helped me out Saturday. And hands-on, awesome guy. Man, I'm not afraid to put the APW flag on the back of him and let him run, Yeah, because he conducts himself that well, And that deal over there in Vino's, that TAC wrestling deal over in Vino's that he's got, man, I enjoy it when I get to go. My daughter's playing a lot of volleyball right now.
Right.
But yeah, they got a good product over there for, it's more of it's in the back of a pizza place, but it's more like an underground concert venue.
That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like.
And it's awesome, man. It's them guys over there, they've got a good product as well. So, if anybody's out in Little Rock area, hey, go check out TAC Wrestling February 22nd at Vino's.
I love it, man. I love that the fans are right there. It reminds me of some of the old KAW shows, the atmosphere. The fans are right there in your face. You're sweating on them. If they're yelling at you, spit's flying on you. I mean, it's just, I really love the atmosphere that it's seen. It looks like it looks like it's a fun show to work, and it looks like the guys have fun.
And he has good talent in there.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a couple guys in there. Alexander Gold, I don't know if you've ever heard of him before.
I've heard of him.
Northwest Arkansas, good talent. Larynx X, his name's Theo Ware. He's out of Kentucky. Awesome talent. I don't know this new guy he's got named Ole Emerson. I don't really know who he is. I think he's out of Texas maybe or something like that. But man, he's got some real good talent up there, and they putting together some quality stuff.
Right. I like because it's a collective of, you're liable to see any style of wrestling there, from what I can say, from death match style to gimmick matches to straight up pure wrestling matches to brawls. I mean, there really ain't no place to brawl there. But dude, the one thing I like about it, and the one thing that I've noticed, is when you got a crowd that close to you, when they're right there at the ring apron, your shit's got to be physical. Everything everybody does needs to be physical, because a crowd like that will turn on your ass. They're right there.
A heartbeat.
They're right there when you hit a guy with a forearm. If that skin don't smack, that sweat don't fly, that crowd can turn on you in an instant,
Man, I
man.
preach it. In our little building in Mariana, which you have never been to, it's where we train at. I could put about 120 people in the building. And this past Saturday night, we probably had that. And I tell them all, I'm like, guys, hey, you get a little tighter. You've got to work a little tighter in here because they're right there. Like
Right.
they're within an arm reach of you. And some of them don't understand it, and that's why some of them are still working the first match against this person that's still working the first match because they hadn't figured it out yet. And until they figure it out, then they're probably going to keep working that first match.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Saturday. And I thought y'all did one of the coolest things I've seen around this area. Y'all did a training seminar where anybody could come, and it was free, right?
Free of charge.
Y'all had what, 19 or 20 turn out for the thing?
I had 19 turn out for it. And actually, out of the 19, 15 of those were people that weren't from APW. 4 of those were from APW.
Right. And that's good. They need to still come too.
Yeah.
All these guys should be taking advantage of any kind of training they can get. Anytime they got the time to get in the ring, they should be in the ring.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And, that's like Tommy Too Good. I don't care what anybody says. I'll put my last dollar on it. Nobody will outwork Tommy Too Good. He may not be the greatest professional wrestler on this planet. Nobody on this planet will outwork Tommy Too Good, heart-wise and physicality-wise. The man, he gets up every morning and goes and works out at his gym. Then he goes to work for 10 hours a day. Then he goes and cleans his gym. Then he's got a family at home.
Right.
Then he's got a metal sign business that he's partnered in. On top of that, he goes and he does the what's it called when they go to the store and restock the coolers and stuff for all the beer companies and the Coke and the Pepsi companies. He does all that on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And on top of that, when he comes to training, dude, and the cardio session that he runs, man, it is nothing to watch him do 200-300 push-ups, 200-300 sit-ups, Supermans, planks, burpees. The dude is just a dog, and
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that I look for, what's in this guy right here that makes him tick. And Tommy Too Good's a worker, and that's why I had him doing the cardio at the training camp this weekend that them people were struggling with.
Well, talk to us about the training camp because I'm highly interested in that. I hadn't been to anybody's training sessions. I'll be honest with you. The last time I seen anybody actually training guys, a couple of years ago, I went to record Swag Wrestling. I got there about 4:00, and me and my wife got there, and we're sitting there watching the guys in the ring being trained and working out. And I'm just going to say it. Dude, every single fucking thing they did was wrong. They were teaching these guys wrong from everything, from lockups to any footwork. Look, here's the deal. It was bad enough that about 30 minutes in, I looked at my wife and I said, let's get the hell out of here. We left. Didn't go back and film. Now, I did go back 5 or 6 months later and film a bunch of their shows. But that first day, when I seen those guys in the ring, and these were new students and guys in there supposedly training them, Ricky, when I tell you everything they were being taught was completely wrong.
Right. And it's a lot of it out there.
Wrong. That's the closest I've been to anybody training a session. So talk to me about what y'all took these guys through Saturday, man.
So, man, when we got in there, I told them all, I was like, hey, be here at 11:30. We're going to get your shoes changed, your clothes changed, whatever you want to do. Get stretched out and everything by 11:55. We're going to start at 12 o'clock sharp. If you're late, don't come. Just simply turn around and go home.
Right.
That's one of my pet peeves. Don't be late. Now, I understand things happen. But I've been working at UPS for 6 years. I've not been late one time. So there's really no excuse of being late except for, hey, something's happened bad,
Right.
But anyway, when they got there, I got up in the ring with Austin Rathchild, which is another, talent that people and you remember the show at at Lafayette's that Johnny done, right?
Right.
These are not my words. These are Thomas Latimer's words. Thomas Latimer, Thomas Latimer actually said, he said, I've not seen nobody in a long time with fundamentals this good on this kid right here.
That's a
So
big deal.
that's a tribute to what we do at APW, and I
Yes, sir.
to me, I thought to myself, that's coming from Thomas Latimer, not some cat from across town, not some cat from over here, over there, wherever. I said Thomas Latimer just told the kid his fundamentals was the best he's seen in a long time, and I know he's been some places to see a lot of people,
Right.
and
I mean, he's been to WWE. He's been TNA. He's currently the NWA World Champion.
right.
So, I mean,
So
he's been there and he's been through he's been through the paces too. So he knows.
So Blackwell and Austin and me and Tommy Too Good done this deal. So I got up in the ring and I just introduced myself to the ones that didn't know me. All they knew was what they see in the ring. Told them how APW started, where we're at now, the things that we've been through, the people that came through APW that is now doing extras for WWE or out at New Japan or, just commonly working every weekend somewhere on the road or something. And I let, Blackwell say, what he thought of the camp and what he expected, and Too Good the same. And Austin pretty much summed it up with, you get what you put in. You put
Exactly.
in 50%, you get 50% back. And that's a motto that I've instilled in him. That's just like at work. You're not gonna get a raise at work if you're a bum sitting in the break room half the time.
Right.
The dude out there busting his butt that you're probably jealous of is going to get the raise, which is the push in wrestling.
Right.
And so when we started, they was all giggly and they was all this and that. And when I hit them with them, I told Too Good, I said 25 laps around the ring. Run one side, shuffle one side, run one side, shuffle one side. That's one. They got to about 11, Doug, and you could see them start dropping like flies.
Right.
So then, the next, we broke them up in groups. I took the more experienced guys that I knew had been trained and had some experience and put them in one. And then I put the not so experienced and the new greenhorns all together in another group. And it was 10 in one group, 9 in the. Well, anyway, that first group got done. And then the second group got up there, and boy, they started dropping like flies again. And this is 25 laps around a 16-foot ring.
It don't sound like a lot when you hear it, but when you go to doing it, you realize how big 16-foot square is.
Well, when they didn't realize it was 64 foot that they were fixing to have to run and sidestep, So
Right.
what we do is we shuffle foot side to side on one side, then we run one, and then you turn. It teaches a lot of footwork. It teaches a lot of footwork, and it also gets your cardio up for in-ring shape, stuff like that.
Yes.
Well, anyway, we done that, and then we got to do some. What did we do? We done some Hindu squat. We done like 200 Hindu squats. We done.
That right there will take some people out too.
You ain't lying. We done some Hindu squat. Man, I've got the list in my phone. But anyway, man, we done some jumping jacks, Hindu squats, and we got in the ring and done some planks, some Superman, some push-ups. Man, we done quite a bit. And a matter of fact, I even got to a point at one time when I was like, look, we're done a cardio for an hour. I'm gonna knock these last two sets, completely out and back some reps down.
Right.
And so then when you got done with that, man, you should have seen them over drinking that water. Man, woo. And I was giggling too because, and I wasn't making fun of them and laughing at them. I was laughing because they come in there thinking, oh, this is going to be the old run of the mill where we're going to sit around and play grab ass. And no, we train. Like when we train at APW, we train. So then we got in the ring and the more advanced group got in the ring and rolls and face bumps and back bumps and up and overs, ins and outs, and all kinds of stuff. Well, the other group was on the floor and they were basically just going over a lockup and a wrist lock and a headlock and stuff like that. So then the other group got in the ring. The greener ones got in the ring and started doing all the rolls and the proper rolls, not the crap that they was doing. I let them all do whatever they wanted to do at first. And then I just told them, I was like, you stand over there, you stand over there. And I was like, you two are right. You other ones, I don't know what this is, And anyway, but we had fun with it. And I heard somebody make the comment, "We don't train like this where I'm from." And I said, "This is real training. This is how you're supposed to train."
Right.
And she said, "But we learned to wrestle." And I was like, "You can't learn to wrestle until you know what it takes to be a wrestler." And
And you can't wrestle if you can't breathe, and all this shit we're doing, it leads to you having better cardio. If you can't breathe,
right,
you can't wrestle. It's simple as that.
right. And I told her, I told the one guy that asked me about it, and he was green. He had no clue about none of it, and he wants to be a wrestler, but now he's like, "This is way more than I expected." And I told him, I was like, "Look," I said, "we don't just go this extensive every Thursday and Sunday, but we do cardio. We do everything that you're seeing here. We do this in a training session every week." And he was like, "There's no way I'll be able to walk tomorrow." And I was like, "Look, this is what it takes. Like, if you're going to do this and be serious about it, this is what it takes."
And that's one tomorrow. That's a couple of days. I imagine there's several of them that couldn't walk Sunday morning,
Right.
but you come back and you do it next week, you're a little less sore. And then the week after that, you're not sore at all no more.
100%. And when we was doing this, I was looking at the ones that I knew could do it, which ones couldn't do it. Man, I had a guy that showed up from Little Rock that had braces on his feet. He done every single thing everybody in there done. Now on the laps around the ring, he was a few laps down because obviously he's not as fast as them, and he can't shuffle his feet like the other guys did.
Right.
Guys and girls did. But this dude had heart. He had tremendous heart. And I looked at everybody in there when it was over with, and I said, if everybody's like this guy right here in the world, we have no problem.
See, that's the thing. It's about the heart. It ain't just about bringing you in here and working to death trying to break you.
No.
It is about seeing who's got the heart not to quit. I don't care if a guy can't get 200 Hindu squats as long as he never gives up and he's just trying until I finally say, "You're good." That's good.
Because in 6 weeks, you're going to be doing 500 Hindu squats.
That's right.
And that's what I told them. I was like, "Guys, we have fun with this. We're going to make it fun." I said, "The only downfall to all of this," I said, "is the ibuprofen y'all are going to have to take in the next couple of days to get you through it."
Epsom salt baths and ibuprofen, man.
100%. And I just told them, I was like, "Look, I'm not recruiting you to APW. If you want to do this, find you a reputable training facility that's going to stand behind what they're supposed to show you, how they're supposed to show you, and pour themselves into you to make you what you are." Training at APW don't last 3 months and then you're done.
Right.
No, 5 years, 6 years, you get a key to the building when you come train at APW. Wes Warren out of Mississippi, he comes up and trains at APW. I won't say every week, but Wes comes up and works out. Gio comes up and works out.
And Wes is Gio too. Actually, both of these guys that there could be eyes on them for one of these WWE ID deals, and they don't even know it yet, man.
Right. Well, and I was going to put Wes's name in there earlier, and we got staggered off. But yes, Wes Warren is another one. Wes Warren is a talent. The dude he's got Chris Benoit wrote all over him.
Yeah, I'd actually got to see him maybe once or twice at Premier Pro before seeing him at your show, so I was a little bit familiar with him.
Yeah.
And dude, he's a hell of a talent. I thought him and was it Prince Ahmed?
Yes.
Dude, here's the thing. They had it was a damn good match, man. Both of them from start to finish, you felt like they were trying to beat each other.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
Well, when they come to me, like, hey, boss, who do you want over? I was looking at them. I said, this is exactly what I told them. I said, I don't want either one of you to go over. I want you to wrestle till you can't walk no more. And they just looked at me, and I was like, I want both of you to go to a time limit draw. I said, I want both of you to wrestle until you can't wrestle no more.
They did, man. They had a hell of a match.
Dude, they ate it up. When I told them that, it was just like you gave kids in a candy store a big-ass candied apple. Dude, it was like, because I wanted to sit there and watch it as a fan. I didn't want to watch it as in what I knew, what was going to happen. I wanted to watch what I wanted to sit there and be a fan and watch this.
Yeah, I'm highly impressed with Warren, and I was highly impressed with Prince Ahmed.
He'll be
That's the
back
first
March
time
8th
I've.
in Mariana.
Yes, we're going to talk about that too. I've got a couple of graphics. I've got the main graphic for that show, and then I got the Buck Skinner Geo Savage graphic.
Yeah.
Show we'll pull up here in a little bit. But yes, I thought Wes Warren, man, he kind of popped on me out of nowhere. Like I showed up at Premier Pro, and there he was.
Yeah.
In the ring, and man, he's an impressive guy, man. He's
He
really,
is.
like you said, he's got that Benoit style. And the one thing I thought about him and Ahmed, man, you could tell they were working together, but they were also going at each other a little bit too. Like
Right.
you're not gonna outshine me out here.
Right. And that's what I enjoyed the most of that deal.
Me too.
You know, I probably shouldn't say this, but I don't really care. Wes was trying to come in somewhere certain and do some work, and they told him you can pay us to come in here and train, and then we'll think about finding you a spot. I don't know who tells him that, but they're not the brightest cat in the box. You know what I mean? They're not the brightest crayon in the box either.
Obviously, they're not looking for talent.
No, absolutely.
When
me and Wes was talking about it, and he told me that, I just shook my head. I said, "Man, sometimes some people can't get out of their own way, but they don't understand that either." So,
right.
Wes Warren is one to watch. I know one night I had Wes Warren tag with Austin Mulatalo against the fully gifted athlete, which is Blackwell and Grayson Beckett.
Hell of a matchup right
Superb matchup. It was great. It was a real good matchup. So Wes is is a good one to watch out for. So maybe he'll get a contract or something.
Right. Well, how did the training seminar end off? How many actually made it through to the end of the training, man?
All of them made it for the most part. The more greener group didn't quite. We had 5-minute matches after the train for the more advanced guys. So I didn't. The greener guys got to sit around and watch and be fans and cheer for who they wanted to see. Be the good guy, obviously the baby face or the heel or whatever. And it went well. Everybody was applauding each other, building each other up. Telling each other, man, hey, here's my phone number. Call me sometime if you're in this area or if you're in that area or whatever. And it turned out way better than I expected, honestly.
Well, let me ask you this, Ricky. When you do those matches in a training seminar, what is your criteria?
I tell them you do what you know. Yeah, so if you don't know how to do let's just say a drop toe hold, don't do a drop toe hold. You know what I mean? I tell them basically, I said, here's what I want out of a finish. You got 5 minutes to put this match together, or, to have a match, and I want a sunset flip for the 3.
So you actually like give them criteria.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell
them.
I'll say, hey, like I had a guy that was like 6'6" wrestle a kid that was right at 6 foot, but the kid that was 6 foot weighed 110 pounds, and the guy that was 6'6" probably weighs 270. And I was like, and I told the little fella, I was like, look, you're the heel. You're going to be the little slimy heel. I said, jump him, just start wailing on him. And when he turns around and looks at you, you sort of be like, uh-oh, And, man, it was an awesome match. That kid was whooping on that big old dude, and that big old dude couldn't get him off. Looked like a possum balled up on his head. And out of nowhere, that big-ass dude hit him with a spear, son, and I thought his soul left his body. And it was believable.
Right. Everybody's got different criteria. Jeff, when I was training, once you became one of the guys they knew was going to make it or at least get in the business,
right?
They'd start letting us have matches. But the one thing they told us, I don't want to hear y'all talk, say a word.
Right.
You get in the ring and wrestle.
Right.
If they didn't want to hear us, it was a prerequisite. If I hear y'all talking, you're doing laps around the damn fairgrounds, the outside, the whole damn building, when the first time somebody does you like that, you're kind of looking like, even as a green person, you're like, what do we do? And then when they tell you, just do what you've been taught, wrestle.
Right.
You know, chain wrestle, reversal,
Right.
wrestle each other. And once you start doing it, man, people would be surprised that if you got good fundamentals, you've been taught well, and you have a decent repertoire of moves, holds, reversals, and different things, you can have some great matches without ever saying a word to each other.
If you know how to work from underneath as a baby face, dude, you can make it. Man, look at Ricky Morton.
Right.
How much money has Ricky Morton made? Ricky Steamboat. How much money have they made in their lifetime from being a baby face to just put people over? And I preach all the time. Y'all watch Ricky Morton. Y'all watch. A big one I always used to like watch. I was like, some of you guys that work a little silly, watch Doink the Clown work. Matt Bourne could work.
Yes, man.
And and then another one out of Memphis, I used to always tell them, I was like, every one of y'all, if y'all get a chance to go watch, I said, go watch Buddy Landale work. I said, watch how simple it is. Watch how easy it is for Buddy Landale to work a match. I said, nah, I'm not telling you to take after his habits or ways. I said, but Buddy Landale can work a match,
Right.
and makes the people believe what he's doing. So it's that, there's sometimes I'll tell them no punches, no kicks. Give me 7 minutes, no punches, no kicks. Don't even touch the ropes.
There you go.
And a lot of them will do it, and they'll be getting up off the mat. Like they'll hit a big shoulder tackle and then a leg drop, and when they go to get up off the mat, they'll reach up and grab the rope. And I'm like, nah, start over. And they look at me like, what? I said, you just touched the rope, and I told you not to. He said, I was just getting up. I was like, you touched the rope. Do it again.
It benefits them. They don't realize it right then, but it's a big benefit like that, because it teaches you how to. I mean, here's the thing. What happens when you get injured? Man, I used to go balls to the wall, and I hyperextended one of my legs. When I say hyperextended, it was wicked. For like 6 months, from my ass cheek to my heel it was so bruised. I mean, my whole back of my leg was like, it wasn't even purple. It was almost a blue.
Right.
But it also, I had to work around that, because I never quit working. It happened. I was working the next night, the week after that, working 2 or 3 times, and it helped me. Actually, it slowed me down a lot more, and it helped me learn how to work more, because when you got something you can't do, or you got to work around something, it teaches you how to do that. It teaches you what you can do and can't do.
Absolutely.
And grabbing the rope, man, not being able to grab the rope, because I'm like you. I'm the same way. If I'm by the ropes and I go to spin up, especially when I was young, I would just come up. But the older you get, you grab that rope and you pull yourself up on that rope. But when you can't touch that rope, then you got to do it. You got to come up with a different plan, man.
Yeah. Well, I put them in scenarios all the time to where you've got to figure stuff out, And I've got a deal to where we end up in a Oklahoma roll for a pinning predicament, and the little spot that we work on makes 0 sense on why we're doing it. But at the end of the day, their footwork is so much better from just doing this small drill that, they always look at me like, why are we doing this? And then when we get done, I'm like, what'd you learn out of that? He said, man, my footwork was bad. I was like, yes, it was. So, let's fix it and get your footwork right.
And you don't even know footwork's important when you're green and you first come in to train. Footwork's the last thing you think about in wrestling.
Yeah. And
it don't even cross your mind that your feet's got to be placed right in different positions. And
well, look, this little young kid was in that training camp the other day, and I told him, I said, you ever done a lockup? Yeah, I've done a many of them. I said, well, lock up with this fellow right here. And this fellow he's never been in a wrestling ring. And I was like, this is fixed to show me whether this kid knows what he's talking about or whether he's just full of hoopla. He went to the lockup, man, and his right foot stepped all over that other kid's right foot, man. And I just started laughing. I said, man, I thought you'd done this 1,000 times. He said, well, I've seen it done 1,000 times. I said, now you're going to tell me the truth, huh?
Right.
So I showed him, the proper lockup, left foot forward. Left foot forward, your right foot back. And he was like, I ain't never paid no attention to that. And I said, brother, you got a lot to learn if you want to do this. And he ain't but like 15 or 16 years old. And I said, you got a lot to learn, if you want to do this. And when it was over with, the kid's foot was perfect every time, And that's what a lot of people don't understand in training. I can look at you, I can watch your footwork. I can watch you do a lockup and tell you whether you've been trained or not. And a lot of these guys that didn't come to this training camp, that need to come to this training camp, it's obvious every day. I see some of this stuff and I'm just like, wow, wow.
And here's the thing, man. You need the fundamentals in wrestling, the basic fundamentals of professional wrestling. Everything else you do from that point on, all these flips and all this different shit is all based off of those fundamentals.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you don't understand that, man. The guys just don't understand that. Even to this day, there's guys in the ring that I watch that can have a decent match, but when you really go to picking out like the footwork and different things and really go to paying attention, you'll be like, man, that's a little suspect right there. You know what I mean?
Well, when I first started training, that's the first thing I was told. If you've got happy feet, you're going to have to break a bad habit,
Right.
Like Saturday, one of the kids that I seen that's got a big upside's that CJ Clapp kid, CJ Money.
Right.
The kid's he's got a knack for it. From the last time I seen him to this, at that training camp the other day, I've seen a 360 turnaround in him, but like I told him, I was like, on your lockups, let's do this. I said, straighten your feet up. I said, don't have your foot kicked out. You have no balance. You have no foundation. You have no structure. And he was like, what do you mean? So I took him and I said, lock up with me just like you would. He locked up with me and I bent him all the way over on his right side. And I said, now take your right foot and straighten it completely out. Make it straight as an arrow. And I pushed him back and I was like, you feel how much more sturdy you are? I said, you have control of your body now.
Headlocks. I see guys snatch headlocks. And instead of jerking that left foot back when they snatch that headlock in and spreading their legs, bending their knees a little bit so you got that leverage, they want to stand straight up, man. And I love a guy like that because that's one of the first things we were taught. You snatch a guy in that headlock and you're standing straight up, feet side by side. Grab me in a headlock like that. I'm going to take you anywhere in the ring I want to take you, and you can't do nothing about it. But you pull that left foot back and you spread them legs a little bit, put a little bend in, then you can direct me. If I go to pushing you, you can pivot and move around. If you want me to push you into the ropes, if I'm going there, you can even pivot to dictate which ropes I'm going to push you into.
100%.
But it's all that leverage, man. And I see guys do it all the time now.
Just seeing you have leverage makes me believe as a fan. I'm sitting there watching you. I'm like, man, he's torquing his head up,
Right.
But then I see this little weak stuff where they just grab a headlock and they're just standing there, and I'm like, time to go get some popcorn, I see several people that don't even know how to apply a proper headlock,
Right.
I see a lot of people that have no clue how to run the ropes, and they're having wrestling shows like this.
And that's dangerous, man. You don't know how to hit those ropes and protect yourself. Forget just the cable burns. Right. What happens when that rope breaks? What happens when that turnbuckle pops?
Right.
If you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to properly hit them ropes, your ass will be out on your head on the floor and be out of the business immediately.
Man, and I'm glad you said that like that because, man, I have a conversation probably once a day with Johnny Dotson. Me and him talk on the phone. Let me tell you something. I've been around Johnny Dotson a long time. I've known Johnny Dotson since I started this. I used to pick him up, and I don't even remember what mile marker it was when we'd leave Memphis headed to Jackson to train. We used to pick Johnny up, and he'd ride to training with us. And but me and Johnny have conversations daily. Had one on my way home today with him, and we talk about who's up and coming, who's not trained properly, who's half-ass trained, which that's a lot of too. You can't train for 6 weeks before a show, 30 minutes before the show, and expect to be taken serious.
Right.
I can't take you serious, There's a group of guys not far from here. And I don't want to bury these guys because with some guidance and some help, some of them probably have a good upside. Somebody might have a good future in the pro wrestling business. And I don't want to dog them out, but man, I look up and I'm like, I had a free training camp and not a one of them came. And I was thinking to myself, every one of you could have used some kind of work
Right.
somewhere or another to at least from the safety standpoint of all this stuff. And not a one of them came. And me and Johnny was talking about it, and he told me, he's like, man, when are you doing this again? I said, I'm gonna do it this fall, sometime or another. I'm gonna have another free camp, and get some people in and have another training camp. And he said, I want to be part of this. He said, because I think a lot of kids these days need real guidance, real help, like not somebody to take their money and let somebody else train them.
Right.
That was half-ass trained before them. You know what I mean? Um, don't get me wrong. Not everybody's bad. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bad people out here that don't really know how to. They're training people because people's giving them money because they want to be a pro wrestler.
Right.
And I don't do that. When you come to APW, dude, I give you a key to the front door. So if you want to go up there on a Monday morning at 8 o'clock and work out, there's the key to the door.
You can't beat that, man.
The ring's right there. Here's a key. There's a whole refrigerator plumb full of water in the back too. There's 2 fans laying there. There's a heater in the building. The access is to whoever wants it.
Right.
I got a kid right now that just started training back in October. He started out hot, man. Started out good, and he's got potential. Here lately, I can't take him serious. He's not trustworthy. I don't know if he's going to show up to help set the ring up. I don't know if he's going to show up to ref a match. And, that's all he's got to do is show up. I'll put him under a mask and let him get just a little experience in front of people.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of nerves to walk out in front of people doing something you've never done before on that kind of stage, especially when I've got 120 people sitting in the building and you're nervous as a dog trying to shit a peach seed.
Right.
And so this is what APW is for. So I send this kid out there to do it, and he comes back and he's like, man, this is great. I love it. This is what I want to do. Well, then over time, he gets a little lazy, wants to play his video game, not show up, not doing it. I can't put any stock into anybody that's not going to put stock into themselves.
And you can't force that either. They gotta want it. Here's the thing about pro wrestling. You have to want this just to go through it, man, because it's not for the faint of heart. It's a hard business. It's a physical business. They can think what they want, but we're out there really taking all these bumps. There ain't no trampolines. You feel every one of these bumps, every one of these rolls. Everything you do out there is real, other than just the outcome of it.
Right. That's what me and Dotson talk about all the time. Me and him talk about the things that we see that could be better. The things that we see, if they would just, man, I told somebody the other day at that training camp, I was like, if y'all ever want to train on Sundays, come on down.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Watch Johnny. Johnny's fucking fundamentals are on point still to this day. From the way, look, we were taught when you cross the ring, if it's a 16 or an 18, you want to make it in 3 steps.
100%.
Now, if it's 20, we can add a step to it.
Right.
If it's bigger than that, because back in the day, WWF rings used to be 24 feet at one point across. But if you watch Johnny, footwork's perfect. Watch him hit the ropes. Watch the little clip on Bluff City where they're training. Watch Johnny when he runs those ropes. Watch them 3 steps, man. It's just perfect.
Right.
His footwork. There's a lot that people could learn from Johnny, man. Look, I'm gonna be honest. Johnny catches a lot of flack, but here's the deal. All right, is the UFC more fun when Conor McGregor's in it and around, or is it less fun?
Oh, it's way more fun.
And that's what Johnny is, and that's what he's doing. Wrestling around our area, it's fucking boring. Right. Nobody's out doing nothing. Why is everybody paying attention to what Johnny's doing? Because he makes it interesting.
Right.
And that's what wrestling should be. At the end of the day, you got to promote yourself. Right. You can't wait on somebody else to promote you. Right. Exactly. Look, if you got heat with Johnny over doing lives and being the King Superstar, I feel like it's more on your end than I feel like it might be a little bit of jealousy because maybe he's taking attention away from where you think it ought to be and putting it on himself when That's his whole job, is to put it on himself in Bluff City Wrestling.
Well,
And
Johnny probably wouldn't do half the stuff he does do if I wasn't on the other end of that telephone telling him, "You scared? You won't do it. You all talk."
it don't take much to get Johnny riled up, man.
No,
Get
it
him
don't.
going.
Dude, I called him one day and just flat made up something. I don't even remember exactly what I told him. I said, man, oh, dude just buried you on the live. He said, where? I can't find it. I said, look, man, if I find it, I'll send it to you. I didn't want to send it to him, but Johnny is for all you guys listen to what I'm telling y'all. For all of y'all that don't know Johnny, get to know him. Get to know him. Johnny Dawson would give you the shirt off of his back. Johnny Dawson would bend over backwards for just about anybody on the planet, even the people that he don't like personally, professionally, whatever.
Right.
Johnny Dawson is probably one of my better friends. And, people tell me all the time, Ricky, man, you going to tell people that? You going to catch heat over that? I don't care. I don't care.
Dude, I judge people by what they give to me. What how they treat me, how they act with other people, how they treat other people.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna, because you don't like a guy, I ain't gotta not like him until he does something for me to give me a reason to not like him. And I'll be honest, dude, me and Johnny, I didn't think that we would ever see eye to eye. But man, the more I get to know Johnny, the better I like the dude, man.
Absolutely.
These young kids out here, here's the thing. I mean, I would rather have somebody tell me right to my face what they think's wrong with me or what I might need to do than beat around the bush or not even say nothing to me, say something behind my back to somebody, and then that comes around. And the wrestling business is full of that. Especially nowadays, I feel like everybody's worried about hurting these guys' feelings when that's the wrestling business. The wrestling business was built on hurt feelings.
Everybody wants to be friends and cool with each other. You know what I mean? Poker face says,
I know Johnny, and he's still annoying. Oh, yeah, I ain't going to lie to you about that. Johnny, that mug will take it to the fullest extent.
Oh, absolutely.
But I love it, man. I be entertained as hell by Johnny's shit, dude. I do. I think it's good for the business around here. Other people think otherwise, but the wrestling business is boring. At least he makes it interesting around here.
I'll tell you something else about Johnny. 95% of the stuff that he says on his live is the truth.
Right.
People don't want to hear the truth no more. People want you to sugarcoat everything and tell you how great your match was, when in reality, it sucked because there was no emotion brought out of a fan in it. You went out there and done a bunch of cool moves. Great. If the fans don't feel no emotion out of this, why in the hell? What are you doing then?
I'll be honest with you. And from my opinion, a lot of the boys are marks for Johnny.
They are.
I mean, honestly, they're marks for Johnny. They can say what they want about him, but even the ones who don't like him be watching them lives and stuff and listening to what he's got to say. Yeah. And if you're a young guy out there and you want to be taught by somebody, like I said, go watch Johnny work in the ring. All you got to do is watch him one time and watch his fundamentals, his footwork, everything about him. He does perfectly. You can tell he's a Bill Dundee guy. You're a Bill Dundee guy, so you know about that. I mean, you can tell that he has fundamentals, and guys really ought to start listening to him some.
My mama swears up and down that me and Johnny are brothers. She said y'all are identical. She said y'all sound just alike. You talk just alike. She said all y'all want to do is talk about people. And I was like, Mom, that's just working. And I know you don't understand what that is, Mom, but that's what it is, And
right.
I'll tell you something. When Johnny's preaching on Facebook, if you young guys will listen, you're going to learn something.
Right.
He didn't learn all this just because he was just just some little airheaded kid running around Memphis or Somerville, Tennessee, or wherever, Fayette County. Johnny learned this from people that I was around for a little while.
And they need to think about how hard it was for Johnny to break that ceiling, especially when he broke in, because it was still 90% the big man sport.
100%.
And when Johnny broke in, literally, he ain't no taller than he is now, but he probably weighed 50 pounds less at least, you know.
When me and Johnny started, the first night that I walked in training, there was a guy there named Trey Keller. Man, Trey Keller beat my ass one night. Dundee wasn't there.
Yeah, you told me about
Keller
that.
beat my ass, and I never understood it. But now I do. You know what I mean? Like, I understood what it was for. I understand why he put me in a pretzel in the middle of the ring and, you know, tied me up and gator rolled me and front face locked me all night long, trying to make me get out of it, trying to make me understand how to get out of it, stuff like that, you know.
You got to make guys. Here's the biggest problem. First thing first, whether you do it like that in the ring or whether you train these guys and work them till you see if they're going to give up, it's about creating respect for the professional wrestling business. That's what it's about, man.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing that we were all, man. I mean, they didn't set you down and said you got to respect this. It was the way we were trained made you respect this.
100%. And that's the way it is at APW. I just tell them, hey, look, you ain't got to like that person standing beside you, but you're gonna respect that person standing beside you.
Right.
We're here to draw money, you know, put seats and put rear ends in seats and draw money. You know, we're gonna do business. You ain't got to like Johnny Dawson, but if you're smart, you'll do business with Johnny Dawson because, you know, this past weekend I watched him on a live video. He was at 100 Wrestling up in Wynn. I watched his live video, and man, he's out in the crowd just torturing these people.
And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I knew when I seen that opening live that some of the guys over there, the other wrestlers, were going to have a little heat with that because they feel like you're drawing attention. Well, it ain't Johnny's job to worry about these guys. And here's the only thing about that. One thing we were taught: do not go out. Even if you're leaving the building, do not go out of that dressing room while a match is going on. Right. Because you don't want to draw attention from that match.
Right.
And that's cool. But any other time, it's your job to get attention on you, eyes on you. And it's those guys' jobs to get attention on them if they wanted it. Look, we got Robert Carter with us, man. He says, big facts. Somebody had to do something for the area. Johnny is a real good guy. And I'm going to say a shout out to Robert. Anybody go watch the brand new Bluff City intro song. This guy and some of his buddies made that. Anybody out there looking for original music need some original intro music, hit this guy up, man. Right. I'm telling you, hit this guy up. Made several intros, man. Different ones for Bluff City, man. And they're awesome, man. They're awesome. Go check them out. Go holler at this guy. He's the guy to holler at.
Right.
And we got PK back with us. He says Trey was a good guy. Yeah, me and Trey almost got into it at Cheers one night.
Me and Trey did get into it one night. Trey wanted to try to talk to my girlfriend like he was going to bully over the top of me one night.
Right.
And I was, I don't know, 130 pounds at the most that time. I just told him, like, look, man, you can go on somewhere, you know. And never had another cross word with him.
He was one of those dudes. Yep. He was big enough that if you let him bully you, he would. Me and him got into it at Martin. We had a match, and I was a little stiff. I caught him with a couple of shots, you know. And so he was pissed off when we come out. And me and him's kind of going back and forth, and Golden's right there. And I told Golden, put us back out there later. Golden didn't want to do that because he didn't know where it was going to go. So me and Trey's back and forth. I'm calling him a pussy, and he's calling me shit, but he never would cross that line. Right. He never would cross that line, man. Right. But after that, the next time I seen him was at Memphis Championship Wrestling. He was the Beaver Hunter then, I think. He act like that never happened. And we were cool from that point on. He act like that never happened.
Well, man, we all do stuff when we're younger. You know what I mean? You grow up and learn from your lessons.
Right.
I never really had no hard feeling. You know, God rest his soul. You know, Trey was gone. He got taken from us, you know, way too early. You know, he's a young fellow when he passed away. But I'll always remember that lesson he gave me that night in the middle of that ring.
I remember one night we were doing a fair show in Union City, and they were using his ring, and where they had the ring set up in front of the stage, it was dirt.
Yeah.
So you couldn't, even if you wiped your feet on the outside of the ring before you got in, there was still dirty footprints in the ring. So he didn't say nothing to none of us, but there was a couple of young guys. And man, he just got all in their ass about it. And they didn't even know that you need to wipe your feet, to be honest with you, I don't think. But we had done the same thing. I mean, here's the thing. You do that when you start the match, but if you get thrown out of the ring during a match and somebody throws you back in, you ain't going to stop them and wipe your feet. So, I mean, it's like working in a rodeo arena.
Right.
If you're on dirt, the fucking canvas is going to get dirty. You know, but he just went all off on these couple of young guys, couple of trainees. I think they might have been his trainees, but he's just one of those dudes. There's some guys in life that if they can bully you, they will. Brian Christopher was kind of like that. If you let Brian Christopher bully you, he would bully you. If you didn't have no problems out of him from that point on.
I was around Brian one time. I went to the Coliseum with Dundee one Monday night. Dundee told me to just sit in a chair. That's all he told me, just sit in a chair. Besides, you know, if anybody asks you any questions, you're with me. I said, okay.
Right.
Sitting in the chair, and Brian walks around the corner, and he goes, "Who the hell are you?"
I'm with Bill.
I said, "I'm with Dundee." About that time, Brian went around the corner, well, wherever the hell they went, and he came back, and he said, "Is he with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." He said, "Now leave him alone, punk." And never spoke another word to him a day in my life. You know, that was the only interaction I ever had with him. And but yeah, I smiled real big when he asked me that. So I was just like, go find Dundee.
Look, Poker Face, he's got it in for you tonight, man. He says, "Ricky, you weighed 130 pounds."
I did, Poker.
And PKTV's back, and he says, "Hellraiser stiff." Never. I agree with that, man. I never thought I was stiff, PK.
Man, the first time I ever met your brother, he told me, he said, "Man," he said, "you don't want to." He said, "You don't want to wear Big Demi. He's stiff. Him kick stiff."
That's where 90% of that shit comes from. Now, look, I can't deny, man. When I first got in, I don't even think I was stiff. I was physical.
Right.
I was young, strong, big boy, corn-fed, physical. I don't think there's been but one person I've ever gotten in the ring with that I wanted to make an example out of her or tried to really be rough with. You know what I mean? But a lot of it was Sam going around before I wrestled guys talking about how I was going to kick their ass and how stiff I was. So by the time they're in there, they're already scared like hell, and I could barely touch them, and it was stiff, man.
Oh, absolutely. Man, I used to get so tickled at some of the stories he would tell me, man, because he is so like graphic when he's telling you a story, man. I get real tickled at it.
Yeah, look, Ricky, he been managing me and grown men fight since I was like 13 years old, man. I ain't joking one bit, man. I'm the only person that he get into it with a couple of guys at a bar or somewhere on the street, and they're all 25, 30, 35 years old. I'm 13, 14. He comes against me. I'm like, damn, man. Come on, dude.
Oh, man. Now, I agree with that, PK Ripper. I agree with that.
I agree with that, too, man. Look, later on, he finally got Crate Soos put on them biker boots, but at first, just had the normal biker boots with the heels. Ask Big Red about that. Ask Rocker, man. Man, he'd catch you in the ribs. He'd kick you, and that heel would catch you right in the ribs, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen him just murderize people. He talk about me being stiff. I've seen people come back from the ring with him and be like, man, what in the fuck, man?
Right. Man, you talk about Rocker, man. When I was younger, Chris Rocker was the greatest heel around to me. You know, like, man, Chris Rocker used to tickle me, man. And I believed everything he said. Like, anything that Chris Rocker come out and said to anybody in that crowd, man, it made my evening. I would laugh and laugh because, man, he wouldn't let off of them people at all.
Right.
Man, and I've never met him either, you know, but at the end of the day, that dude right there, he's another guy that I always loved going to, to a wrestling show to see.
Yeah, Rocker's the man, dude. Well, Ricky, look, man, let's get into some of your talent here at APW. Man, I got a list here.
All
And
right.
so what I'm going to do, if I missed anybody when we're through with this list, you bring them up and tell
Okay.
us about them. I'm going to shoot these names out to you. Give me a quick synopsis of your opinion of these guys. Look, Austin Rathchild, you said it earlier, but tell us again what you think of Austin.
Fundamentally sound, like Austin Mulatalo, man. Very humble, very well mannered. He's the kind of guy you want your daughter to marry. You know what I mean? And on the outside of all this realm of everything, Austin Rathchild is he comes from good people.
Right.
Has a large upside, but I think Austin is also content with, regionally wrestling, here and there, yada yada yada.
Right.
I know he's wanting to have some kids here in the future. Just recently married, stuff like that. Austin Rathchild's one of the kids that I was just like really impressed with everything, because I can tell him and Tommy Too Good. I ride harder than anybody else. I ride them as hard as I do Buck on some things, but I just tell them all the time, wasn't good enough, and it was
Right.
good enough.
Right.
Wasn't good enough. Wasn't good. Go home, do some homework, and holler at your boy later. Stuff like that. Great kid.
You said his name. He's second on my list. Tommy Too Good, man.
Dog, pure dog. Like,
Let me ask you this, Ricky. I'm sure you have. Have you seen Tommy Too Good work his heel?
I have.
What's your thoughts on Tommy Too Good versus heel versus Tommy Too Good, the babyface?
All right, babyface Tommy Too Good. The adrenaline, the good look, the tan, the muscles, decent looking guy. Women sort of like him because he's not a bad looking fella. He's got a good look. Pumped up, 150 miles an hour, gets the fans behind him. Heel Tommy Too Good, rated R, all out, make you hate him prick. You know what I mean? Like, Too Good used to come out when he was a heel, man, and he'd had this little rap, and he'd be like, it's the T-double-O to the G-double-O-D because your mom likes it, stuff like that, Too Good as a heel is great, too.
Man,
but I just think him and Justin together, man, they got that old Fantastics vibe to them. The old,
right.
You know what I mean? They got good looks. They work out. They're in shape. They got good gear, the whole 9 yards. But heel Tommy Too Good, I love it.
Dude, I seen him do heel at a Premier Pro show.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Tommy Too Good as a heel, man.
Absolutely.
I just thought, for me, that's it. I know it's hard for you to have him as a heel down there, being that's where he's from. But, man, I think everywhere else, Tommy Too Good ought to be a damn heel, man.
I told Dotson that not too long ago. I was like, man, Too Good as a heel. I said, there's another layer of stuff you've never seen.
Oh, I loved him, man. I fell in love with him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, you said his name too, Justin Daniels. And let me say something first. This right here is a kid that I think people overlook his ability in the ring. Man, I've watched this kid. Justin Daniels is really, really good in the ring, man. He is. He's fluent. He can move. I mean, he's good in the ring.
I wish Justin's awesome, good. Just like Austin, just like Too Good. Justin's A1. Great guy, wonderful dad. He's there to put the ring up. He's there when the ring comes down. Not many people do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially when they're not a product of APW. They're a product within APW.
Right.
I wish Justin would come over more and train more with us. Not knocking anything else.
No, yeah,
I just wish that I could get him in there with me and let me show him the things that I learned, that I was like, this makes a world of difference. You don't have to be athletic to be a pro wrestler. You can move like an athlete and look just as
Right.
athletic as anybody. Don't get me wrong. It helps to have the athleticism Braun Breaker would have. Um, but yeah, Justin's got a very good upside, and if I ever get him and Too Good to click as a tag team, as a working tag team, not two guys working like singles as a tag team.
I'm glad you said that because I've kind of noticed the same thing. They've
Right.
got a good package. They look good together.
Yes.
But when you watch them, it's almost like they're not quite on the same page with each other.
So I've got a lot of work to do with them on structure and how to work as a tag team. And there's a method to that. One of the methods that you could actually look at and tell would be the Can-Am Express.
Right.
I've told them, I said, man, go watch the Can-Am Express work. I said, go watch the Heavenly Bodies with, Jimmy Del Rey and Dr. Tom. I was like, go watch them guys work together. Like, that's tag team wrestling. I said, go watch the Brainbusters work the Rockers. That's how you guys should structure as a tag team with a match.
Right.
I legit came a long ways because a few years ago I was like, ooh, and then he's come over and he's worked out a lot, and them boys are on the road grinding it, and they're learning from other people. But there's also got to understand is simple is easy. Easy is understood. Easy is simple. Simple is understood.
Right.
And when they understand that, it's going to click for them. And them guys they've got a bright future ahead of them. They just got to understand how to work as a tag team, not two singles in a tag team.
Have they been heels together?
No.
I think that would be worth a shot because sometimes it ain't just. Sometimes the guys have to find that common ground.
They do.
And I'll be honest with you, I love Tommy Too Good as a heel. I think that there's so much you could do with Tommy Too Good as a heel. And Justin Daniels, he's a little more of he's got the military background. He's a little more of the all-American boy. But I would like to see him. I don't think I've ever seen Justin as a heel, and I'd really like to see him as a heel just to see the difference in him as a baby and a heel. But I'm with you on both of these guys, man. I'm glad you said that because I've seen the same thing. They're not, they don't quite have that synergy yet between them where it's like they're using one brain where they know what each other's doing.
Right.
And that comes with working together and experience too.
Well, a lot of the times that they get together, they want to convolute stuff, and that's not a knock on them. That's me saying, instead of y'all doing 52 moves, let's do 13.
I think that's wrestling in general right now. Here's the thing.
Right.
You can be convoluted if you got guys who can go out there and pull that off. But most of these young guys have never been in any of those situations, so simple is the best. It's always in pro wrestling in general. Simple's always the best way.
Right.
It just is. You don't lose the fans. They can follow what's going on. And like you said, you don't have to remember 12,000 fucking things either, man. Your match can be a lot of times guys make matches harder on themselves than they really need to be.
Yes, I agree there.
So this is a dude that, man, I was on the board about him before I came to the Smitty.
Yeah.
And I am completely not on the board about him now. I love this fucking dude, Floyd Flair. He's the perfect heel because he can be a slimy little shit kicking heel. He's just, man, I love him. After I seen him live, dude, I love this fucking dude. And I was really on the fence about him before I came to the Smitty. I'd heard a lot about him, and I never really seen him like that. And now I see what all the hoopla is about with him, dude.
So me and Floyd Flair date back to 2005, something in there. When I started in 97, I trained for a little while, done some matches, and I got to a point to where I was being used and abused, and I knew I was, and I got completely sick of the I didn't like what had happened to me in the wrestling
Right.
business, so I walked away from it. In 2002, 2003, about 4, I think it was 3. Buddy of mine come to me. He said, "Man, they got wrestling at the Queen in Helena." And I said, "There ain't no damn wrestling at the Queen in Helena." They had wrestling at the Queen in Helena. So guess what I did? Went to wrestling. So do
Hey,
you
and
know?
that's a place like like the TAC.
Yes.
We before they ever had wrestling, when I still lived there, they were doing this tough man contest, and they'd rent our ring for a little while, and we'd go set the ring up for them.
Right.
And man, the Queen of Clubs. Now we're from there, so we understand the rowdiness.
Right.
But the Queen of Clubs was tailor made for kick-ass wrestling.
100%.
They'd have been the police at that motherfucker every
Every
show,
night.
dude.
2 or 3 different times a night.
Right.
So I went to you remember a big guy named Rudder from West Helena?
Yeah.
All right. Big Rudder was one of my, and I have a show in remembrance of him now, every March.
Right.
And anyway, Rudder called me and he was like, "Man, they got wrestling at the Queen tonight. You ready?" And I was like, "Man, Rudder, they ain't got no wrestling at the Queen." He's like, "They got wrestling at the Queen tonight." He said, "Bell time." I want to say the bell time was 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I was like, "Hell, I'll meet you there at 6:30. We'll get us a steak and some drinks and we'll watch wrestling." So I went to this wrestling show and I wasn't ready for what I seen. These dudes was in there hitting each other light bulbs and all kinds of stuff, and I was like, "Whoa!" But then there was some guys that was wrestling,
Right.
and one of them was Floyd Flair, which at that time was called Main Event. And he was wrestling a kid they called Big Time. You know CJ the Kid that used to wrestle with me?
CJ the Kid. I'm not right offhand.
Little
Ricky.
young dude. He was at the Smitty. He tagged with Mike Reels. Long hair.
Yes.
So Big Time is his dad, and Big Time and Floyd had a match, and I'm talking about a hard hitting from 2 little guys, hard hitting, believable match. That night right there, I fell in love with Floyd Flair.
Right.
I automatically was like, this guy, he understands it, he gets it, like he's great. So after the match, me and Rudder sat around for a little while. They unloaded the ring. I didn't say a whole lot to them. We went back the next Wednesday night, and after the show, I walked up to a guy and I was like, "Man, how do I get in here with y'all? How do I start, getting in the show with y'all?" And he was like, "Man, who trained you?" I said, "Bill Dundee." And that dude looked at me. He said, "How many times I've heard that people's trained so and so?"
Right.
And I said, "Man, I'll be glad to get in the ring with you and show you what I know." So this guy, and at the time, walked in the back, and out come this little skinny blonde-headed fella. Main Event, which was now Floyd Flair. We got in the ring, and I locked up with him, and I done a little go behind into a headlock takeover. And he got up and he said, "That's all I need to see." He walked in the back, and the guy come back out. He said, "Can you be here next Wednesday night?" And I was like, "Sure." No. I said, "Sure, I can be here." And since that night right there, me and Floyd Flairs had mutual respect with each other, and it's off the charts how much talent he's got. Now, don't get me wrong, he ain't no bigger than my pinky.
Right.
But Floyd Flair can flat work. He can flat nail a promo, heel or baby face, it don't matter. Floyd Flair understands how a match is supposed to go. Floyd Flair understands how to work a crowd. Floyd Flair understands how to get heat, how to work from underneath as a babyface. He can do it all. There's nothing that I hadn't seen him that he couldn't do.
Oh yeah, he got me that night at the Smitty. I was hooked after that, man. He is. Right. You can do anything with him.
You can.
I mean, honestly, when I seen him after that match and that night, I realized what the hype was about. You can do anything with this guy. He's got the look as a heel that you immediately want to smack the shit out of him before he says anything.
Right.
And then when he comes out and does his different stuff, man, and just I'm sold on Floyd Flair now, dude.
Dude, I love Floyd. And that's why he is the APW champion, because he understands what it takes to get the job done.
Right.
It don't matter what the cost is. He's going to do what it takes to win every single match that he's in, and great, 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 great talent that's been overlooked his whole life.
All right, Ricky, we kind of touched on this guy a few times during this show, but obviously, Buck Skinner, man.
Yeah, like I said earlier, the son I've never had, and I tell people that all the time because I've got a daughter. I don't have a son, and my daughter looks at wrestling like, and when he come along, right then I knew that I had a friend. You know what I mean? Like I had a freaking buddy that not only loved what I loved, but you could tell that he had passion for what he was doing and what he believed in. And Buck's a hard worker. Buck's not going to talk a lot to some people, to most people. Me and him talk all the time. Good hard worker, and I don't say this about a lot of things because the word deserve is it's a very minute word that shouldn't be used often. Not everybody deserves anything in this lifetime.
Like the word the word legend nowadays.
Yeah. Anything that comes to Buck Skinner is well deserved.
He earned it.
He has. He's put the time in. He's put the work in. He trained under Johnny Rods for 5 years. Then he comes to APW, and man, I show him stuff that he's like, man, I didn't, this is new to me. Show me that again. Let's stop. Let's film this so I can keep watching it and redo it and this and that. And then he goes out to LA with Fred Rosser out at the New Japan Dojo.
Right.
Man, he's got people in his corner like Matt Stryker. Matt Stryker's got a hand in Buck. And now he's done moved from LA and he's now trying to get in with some other guys out where he's at now, and that's going to add even more repertoire to him. But when you say Buck Skinner, I look at him and I'm going to say probably the best talent in the state of Arkansas. Probably one of the best talents around in the surrounding 5 or 6 states.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy. Look, he's a guy that I believe 100% we're going to see in WWE. Somewhere down the line. I just don't see how they're going to pass up on this guy.
Right.
I just don't see it. Like I said, with Bluff City, man, I mean, I would have built my whole show around Buck Skinner when we opened up. He would have been my crown jewel, and I would have positioned all the other pieces around him for the show. But yes, he's a guy that he's got the size and he's got the presence, man. He's unique. Here's the thing: from the first time I seen Buck Skinner, and even now, there's nobody out there that like him. There's nobody that looks like him, the kind of shit he wears, the look he has. He's unique, man, and that goes a long way. Here's the thing: uniqueness and being able to damn work and being professional goes a long way in the wrestling business. That makes uniqueness even more important.
Right.
And he is unique, period.
So while we're speaking about Buck and talking about people, helping people, there's a kid out in LA. His name is Zane J. Look him up on Instagram if you can, Twitter, whatever. Zane J. ZANE-J. Zane J. You want to talk about, me and Buck was talking about it the other day, a star. Like, that kid's going to be a star one day.
I'll have to check him out when we get off here, man.
I'll send you his profile after we get offline.
Okay.
But other than that, Buck's one of the best talents around. I think that Buck, Mulatalo, Aaron Roberts would be the top 3 around here, in my opinion.
And here's the thing we need more than anything else. We need one guy who breaks out above every company around here. We need a new Jerry Lawler. We need a new Bill Dundee. We need a marquee guy. And that's the one thing I seen with Buck, man. To me, Buck's a marquee guy from the jump, man. Right. I mean, I want to put that dude on my poster and be able to say on my TV show, we're going to be here. Come see Buck Skinner live. You won't regret it.
Well,
We need a franchise guy.
I've tried to book a match, and I think me and you talked about this in Messenger one day,
Right.
and I'm going to keep working on this until I can make the stars align with that deal. You know, and if people don't come pay money to see that, they're not real wrestling fans.
Right.
You know, and it's going to come to a head one day, and I'm going to be able to book that at some point or another. I'm going to be able to make it work, and um, it's yeah, it's going to happen. If I've got to glue their feet to the ground long enough to get them to stand still.
It's a big match. It is the biggest match that probably can be booked around here.
It is.
I mean, that's just the honest truth. It's the biggest match you could book around here for both guys involved. It would be good for both guys involved.
That's video that both of them can use.
Right. So let's go to our girl, Nix, man. This is a chick right here that I'm dying to see her gone. I want her gone. I want to watch her on big time TV.
You're going to. She has star written all over her. She was told, and she called me furious one day, and she was told that she'd only be a regional star.
She told me that.
And the disappointment, not because what she was told, the disappointment that she had because somebody had the audacity to tell her that she wasn't going to be anything more than what she was now.
Right.
That lit another fire in her. I hope to God that one day you see her on TV, on Netflix, holding a belt up or whatever the case may be. And I hope like hell she's able to look into that TV screen and say, I made it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
She's another one that's a dog. You know what I mean? She puts the work in, you know. I don't get to see her at training like we should because she's got a family at home, man. She's got kids. She's got a career. She's got everything going on. She's making towns. She's up and down the road, you know. But there's not a day goes by that I don't watch something to make sure she's okay, make sure she's doing something right, you know. I seen her lead with a headlock takeover one day, and I texted her, I said, what is this? And she said, the minute I done that, she said, boss man, I thought directly of you seeing that and knew you was fixing to get in my ass.
Right.
And I said, don't ever let me see you do that again. I said, I'm going to do it to you, you know. And very passionate, you know. She's got a kickboxing background to her, ex-cheerleader, hell of an athlete, great attitude, great mind for the business. She'll go somewhere one day. She's got star written on her.
And she's got determination. She's not going to. I mean, here's the thing about wrestling. You got to have tough skin because people say a lot of things like that. You're never going to be no more than what you are now.
Right.
And I don't, she's the type of person that when you tell her that, I feel like you said, lit a fire under her, made her even want it even more. And here's the thing about Nix. I like her as a person.
Right.
She's a good person.
Right.
You know, she, like you said, got a family, got a career, wrestling, all this stuff. And it's hard to juggle all those things, man.
And that can mentally take a toll on you too.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when you get down a little bit and you lose a little bit of confidence in yourself, like you're not being successful with everything you got going on, you know, you sort of start feeling like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. When in reality, you just got to pull another cape out, put it on your back, and go again, you know.
Me and Jake Painter were talking about that a couple weeks ago. I don't think people here realize how big a deal confidence is, not just in life, but especially for a professional wrestler. You can be up here, everything can be going great, and you can be on top of the world. And one split second later, you can be back down at the very bottom of the pile, and you got to take that drive home, and you got to get home and think, what in the hell should I really even be here? Do I deserve to be here?
Right.
You know, and like you said, you got to have tough enough skin where you flick that shit off, and yeah, I deserve to be here.
Well, one of the guys that wrestled for me, and we've named him already, called me one night, man, and he's like, does it end? I said, what do you mean? He said, man, string of bad luck, a karma. I don't know what's on me, but everything on the planet's going wrong. I said, brother, that's life. That ain't
That's
just
it,
in the
man.
wrestling world. That's life.
Right.
And there's life lessons to be learned in this. At APW, before we become a pro wrestler, we're going to become a grown woman or a grown man. We're going to become responsible. We're going to become a person that's going to have a little character and integrity about themselves before we even worry about the wrestling part. So,
And that right there is why your crew, your guys, your girls stand behind you like they do, because most promoters, they don't really give a shit what's going on in your personal life as long as you're there when they want you to do, want you
Right.
there, and do what they want you to do. They don't care one iota about what's really going on in your life, who died, your kid's sick. They don't care about none of that. They only care about what you can do for them. And I believe that's a gleaming example of why your crew, the APW crew, is like they are, man.
Well, you could any of my people could call me right now and be like, Mr. Rickey, I'm in trouble. My car's tore up, or I'm in jail for some odd reason, and
Right.
I'm liable to cuss them out, but I'm also gonna go help them and let's get this problem fixed and figured out what not to do next time, or get you home off the side of the road or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Reaper, the guy that wrestles for me, Reaper, the Unholy Alliance, the older one of the Unholy Alliance, that dude has bailed me out so many times on things that I needed done, and he went and done it. I
Right.
he don't ask for a dollar. He don't ask for nothing. You know, all he wants to do is be able to wrestle. And that's the kind of relationships we have here.
Well, you said it. They were on my list, the Unholy Alliance. So just give me a little bit, man.
Man, I'll peel the curtain back on this a little bit. That's a father and son deal, and I think that's pretty damn cool because not everybody gets to wrestle with their dad.
I'm with you
Not
100%,
everybody
man.
gets to wrestle with their son. You know what I mean?
Right.
The son he's got a knack for this. He can do it. I remember one day he told me that he couldn't do an up and over. Flat told me at training. He said, "I can't do it. I'm not going to do it because I can't do it." And I stopped right there because I knew in his mind he really thought that he couldn't do it.
Right.
So I got in there and I told him, I said, "Man, let me tell you what my mom and my grandma used to always tell me." I said, "Man, can't never could." I said, "Can't never could." I said, "But once you realize you can do it, I promise you're going to be able to do it." Man, and I know he doubted me for a few weeks because, like I said, the self confidence wasn't there.
Right.
2 weeks later, I come into training, and this cat, now he's using the bottom rope. And I don't have a problem with that because Penta does it, Mysterio does it, a lot of them guys do it. But he was doing these up and overs using the bottom ropes. Now he does them without the bottom rope.
All right, Rick, here's a story. And believe it or not, when I was training in 93, we were doing up and over drills. Jeff had already gone doing the Double J. So at this time, Eddie Marlin's there with us. And so we're doing these up and overs. And obviously, I'm a big guy. Man, I could not get an up and over for shit, man. For shit. Just something I couldn't do. It was a mental block.
Right.
So I come up with the idea. I asked Mr. Marlin, I said, "Can I spring off that bottom rope? Can I use that bottom rope?" And he kind of paused a second, looked around. He said, "Try it." 93. I was doing that bottom rope up and over in 93. And that was before Mysterio and any of these guys showed up over here. That was before I'd never heard of it or seen anybody do it. It was just me trying to figure out how to do this, how to get it done.
Right.
And he paused for like 40 seconds and he just looked at me and he's like, "Try it." And obviously the first time I did it, it wasn't great. It took me a minute to figure out how to jump and get my feet to land both at the same time. But I actually got to where I could do it. I never really used it in matches, but it was something that I did do, and I swear I feel like I invented that, man. Right. I do, man.
After that, man, he's been doing them. They're not the greatest looking ones, but they've improved so much that now we're going to go from, okay, they look good to let's make them look perfect, and we're going to get him there. So, but Reaper is old school. old school cat, punch, kick guy, choke you on the rope, old school heel worker.
Right.
Um, very smart about the business. He knows the ins and outs, of everything. He knows how everything's supposed to look and do. Um, right now, I think Reaper's enjoying having wrestling matches with his son. Being able to
Yes.
to share this moment with his son that probably means a lot to him. And
Oh, I'm sure it does.
to me, it means a lot because I'm able to give them this platform to do this with their kid, with each
Right.
other, and great people. If it wasn't for Reaper, I wouldn't be in APW. Reaper is the reason APW has even happened, and I ought to whoop his ass tonight. I ought to just drive to his house right now and whoop his ass for causing me this headache. But no, in all reality, man, Reaper's one of my best friends.
Dude, just drive to his house, hop out the truck, smack the shit out of him, turn right around and drive off and leave him wondering why, man.
Oh, the minute I got out of the driveway, he'd be calling, what was that for?
So look, man, I know this guy. I don't think he is a homegrown APW guy, but he is at all the shows now. Geo Savage, man. Talk to me about Geo.
So, Geo, it don't matter if Geo's having a bad day or not. Geo's going to come in with that big old smile, all the positivity in the world. Another guy you want your daughter to marry. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Geo's not really is, but he's not. If you ask Geo who trained him, he's going to tell you something. He's going to tell you that me and Buck did it 9 times out of 10. And he told me that out of his own mouth, because he's come to training sessions with us a lot, and he's like, "Whoa, I wasn't shown none of this."
Right.
I blowed his brain one day. I said, "What we're fixing to do is," I said, "we're going to duck 2 clotheslines and 2 back elbows, and then take a shoulder tackle and stop." He had no clue where his feet went. He had no clue how to position himself in a ring. He was all over the ring. He was completely lost. And I said, "Geo, you're ducking 2 lines, you're ducking 2 back elbows, and you're giving a shoulder tackle." I said, "It's a simple drill." It took him for I don't know how long to get it. And then when he got it, he was like, "Oh my God, this is so easy." And, I just showed him a lot of things. Bucks worked with him. I worked with him. There's a lot of things that Geo's learned at APW, to help him progress to where he's at. I'll never take the credit for that because he's done the work himself.
Right.
I'm just glad that I was able to help him get however far he goes in the world. Not just in the wrestling world, but professionally. If he needs some help at his job, I'd go help him.
Right.
Great guy, awesome dude. Everybody should book Geo Savage as a baby face on their show. Women love him.
Yeah, man, when I was there, it surprised me the kind of reaction he got, man, and just he's got, like you said, he comes out with energy, man. It's his energy's infectious. He's got so much energy that it makes you get excited, man, just watching him come to the ring.
Absolutely. Man, the kids that are sitting there probably thinking, "Man, this is not cool, this is dumb." Yeah. But when somebody like Geo comes out of that curtain and sees all these other kids going, these kids automatically they gonna get right up and be right along with it.
Right.
He just brings that atmosphere out. And one night, I'll tell you a quick story real quick. One night when the first nights he come to our little dojo where we have our little training shows and stuff at, I walked up to him and I handed him his envelope and he said, "Keep it." I said, "Huh?" He said, "Keep it." I said, "What do you mean keep it, you dummy? This is your PO." He was like, "Man, I made almost $500 tonight. Keep that little PO." And I started laughing and I was like, "You son of a," and but yeah, that's the kind of stuff that Geo does, man, and then just another one that deserves everything he gets.
Yeah, he's really over the past. He probably popped on my radar maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And over the past year and a half, I've seen a lot of advances in Geo in the ring.
Yeah.
He's and that's really the first time I'd ever seen him live, and he's better live than he is on
TV.
YouTube or on
Yeah.
TV. It's better to watch him live, man.
I agree 100%.
So look, man, the realest guy in the room, Mike Reels, man.
Cold-blooded. Like, Mike Reels is so underrated. Mike Reels is so good. Like, me and Mike have this little deal together where he's like, "Man, what do you think, brother?" I was like, man, it was shit." And he's like, "Oh, it wasn't shit, man." He's, "Now you bullshitting," just stuff like that, like on Memphis wrestling, they used to call him Mr. Saturday Morning, Mike Reels, and dude, Mike Reels is good. Mike Reels
Yeah.
is underrated. The one thing I will say about Mike Reels is a lot of people say a lot of people put this stigma on him, this negative stigma on him about him not showing up, him not doing this, him not doing that. I've never had that problem out of Mike Reels.
Right.
Something comes up with his kids and he can't make it. Hey man, hey boss, look man, something's up with my kid, yada yada yada. I can't make it. Everybody told me that Mike Reels would do this to me and do. Nope, nope. Me and Mike Reels talk daily. It might be about NASCAR. It might be about a stupid airplane or something dumb he's done seen in Memphis or I seen on the UPS truck or something. Mike Reels is very underrated. Mike Reels has the ability to do a lot more things than he's doing right now, but Mike Reels also, wants to make sure his kids are in a good place and take care of
Right.
his family, and I commend that 100%.
Yeah, I like Mike, man. Mike's here. Look, as far as just wrestling, Mike's a guy that if he would, man, you could do something with Mike in any company, anywhere. If he really wanted to really go out here and started taking bookings, I don't think it would take Mike Reels long to become one of the most sought after guys around here. It's his persona. He's got like Buck is unique in a certain way. Reels is kind of unique too. He's got when they were doing that on Bluff City on Saturday morning, I always thought, especially the few times I seen him wear a suit, the idea of Matt Reels being Mike Reels being a hitman, not like with the gun, but he's the guy when you need someone taken care of in the wrestling business. He's the guy you pay. He's a mercenary, and dude, I just seen. Anytime I think about Mike, my mind starts going crazy with different things I'd like to do with him.
Let me give you an idea that's in my mind. Mike Reels and Floyd Flair together.
Ooh.
So Floyd is he's the mouth. Floyd is the one that gathers all the attention. And when you're not looking, Mike Reels just scrapes you plumb off the concrete,
He's
them
a silent
together,
killer.
Absolutely. Them two, one of them is the worker, one of them's the talker. You know what I mean? And they can both work. And Floyd could do all the talking and let Mike do all the working. And dude, I'm telling you, that would be a hell of a heel tag team.
I'm with you on that. I think that would really work.
I agree. I think it would too.
Because that's the one. That's the one. And I don't know that it ain't that he can't do it. I think it might be more of a fact that he's probably not had the opportunity to be on the mic a lot, to get comfortable out there.
Right.
But I think that would be a great idea. I think they could get some really serious heat, man. Floyd gonna get heat with his mouth,
right?
And then Mike's the silent killer. Floyd talks all the shit, and Mike comes in there and backs it up.
Right.
I like that.
Mike can talk on the mic too.
I like that, man. I really do. Well, we've talked about the Unholy Alliance. What about Night Train, man?
Man, Night Train's one of the guys from Helena. He's originally a Helena OG. Night Train's got a lot of potential, a lot of upside. The only thing about Night Train that I just want to squeeze his head off is get to the shows a little bit earlier. You know what I mean? Get
right.
there a little earlier. Get in there and let's get a little work in the ring. You know what I mean? Other than that, Night Train's a hell of a worker. He He's not going to get in no hurry. He works to a slow pace, just like the old school cats used to.
Right.
Night Train's very methodical. Night Train is one of the kind that uh, him and Prince Adonis is the Storm, and I think they're a good tag team together as well.
Right.
I think Train is the muscle in that deal. Adonis is the more of the silent type that's not gonna say a whole lot. Them boys, they mean business and they both can work. But Night Train is he's one of the another one like Mike Reels. He's underrated. He don't get the shots he needs to get. I think he can be booked on better shows and his and showcase his talent a little better.
Right. Right. Um. All right. What about Bo Radix, man? This is a giant dude.
Man, so another deal to where he fell into this deal so his son wanted to start training wrestling. So Bo was like, "Man, I think I want to do this too," and I was like, "Hell yeah! Look how big you are." You know what I mean? Like you're taller than Buck. You're like 6'7",
Right.
and you're bigger than Buck. Like, where did this come from? And so he started out, man, and I think he's in his high 40s, low 50s, somewhere that way in there in age. And man, he comes to training every Thursday and Sunday. Every Thursday and Sunday, Bo Radix is in there training, getting better.
That's
And
all you can ask for.
you can't ask for nothing better.
Right.
I could call Tracy right now and be like, Tracy, we're in West Memphis at the show. Go by my house and grab my trailer with my guardrails on it, bring it to West Memphis, and he'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, where else you gonna find that at?
Right.
And but Bo's made strides. He's getting better. He's working different people. I'm putting him in the ring with different aspects and different looks and stuff like that with other people, and it's paying off for him. And I think Bo, and he don't want to travel all over and wrestle for 40 companies and do all this other stuff. He's APW born and bred, and he's gonna be there until it's over with. And I respect him a lot for what he does for him and his son.
Yeah, man. When I met him at the Smitty, a cool dude, man. A really cool dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like him, and you're right. He's a giant, man. Ain't no doubt about that.
He's very smart. He's very smart.
Right. Grayson Beckett, man, one of the fully gifted athletes, or used to be one of the fully gifted athletes.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if you don't know Beckett, his history, Beckett probably used to weigh 320 pounds, something like that. Beckett was a big boy. All right, so William Blackwell was a big fella too. These guys got serious about pro wrestling. They cut weight. They started working out. The grappling deal that they do. Grayson Beckett has made a 360 in life in general, with his weight, stuff like that.
Right.
And it's made his wrestling career flourish. At one time, Beckett I was just like, man, this dude here is just, he's your normal wrestler. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Now he stands out. Now he can flat work. Now he can get around and move around like a wrestler should, because he's done lost over, I would say 80 to 100 pounds, in the gym working out. He's another one that's in the ring 3 to 4 hours every time before a show, constantly working out, constantly training, constantly doing this,
And there ain't no substitute for that ring time.
No,
you can go to the gym, you can pump weights, you can ride a life cycle, you can do a Stairmaster, you can go run. But the best way to keep wrestling ring wind up is being the wrestling ring trainer.
100%. And he's all about it, I will say this about Beckett. He's very smart on what he does. You know what I mean? Like, he don't waste anything. Like, he tells me all the time, he's like, Ricky, I have no time to waste. I'm a little older. I didn't get in shape like I should have when I needed to. And now I'm running a little behind. I'm a little older now, so I've got to go and make what I can of this. And great talent. You should book Grayson Beckett, every chance you get as well.
And next is we've talked about him earlier in the show, William Blackwell, and here's the hook. Okay, they actually broke up that night at the Smitty.
Yes.
Okay, and one of the things you told me was you said, man, if you see when these matches end, if you want to catch somebody and get an interview, go right ahead. So I didn't know, like I had no idea what was going on in none of these matches. So the match between the fully gifted athletes and legitimately too good ends. So I'm up around ringside, working my way up there to talk to Tommy Too Good and Justin Daniels. Well, I'm there, and it never hit me. I didn't realize what was going on until after they finally done the thing. But I could tell it kind of threw Tommy Too Good and them off just a little. We done the little interview, and about the time it was over, then the dude turned on the dude, and I thought, man, I screwed that up. But what I thought what I loved about it was these guys were smart enough that just cause I'm out there didn't change nothing about what was supposed to go down, what they were supposed to do.
Right.
All it did was throw a little cherry out there of like, this dude's out there, because when it happened, I didn't expect that to happen. So I gave a natural reaction to what was going on. And then I skedaddled out there. I got the hell out of the way and went to the announcer stand. And I thought, well, man, I kind of screwed that up. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, I actually like that. I'm going to be honest with you, Ricky. I had a blast at that fucking show, dude.
So that's the first thing Will said. He was like, should we tell the guy in case he wants to interview us? I was like, nope, don't say a word. Do what y'all are going to do and be done with it, and man, them that's the thing about them two guys right there. I give them the freedom because I trust them with what, I can give them the vision, and they turn that vision into reality. And great dudes, man. William Blackwell, I'll put him over to the moon. I will say one thing about Blackwell. He will dress better than anybody out there. Him and Gio. Him and Gio need to have a fashion contest before every show, So
They was trained for style by Danny B, man.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Danny B's the only dude we could be wrestling in a fucking outhouse, and he gonna come dressed to the nines, man.
Don't blame him at all. And I'll tell you what, I met Danny B one time in Dyersburg, Tennessee, and I was with Derek King and Kevin Lawler that night. And Derek come got me, and he said, "Hey man, can you come sell Danny B's good merch for him?" I was like, "Yeah, I can." So I sat down beside this woman, and I didn't know who she was. Well, a few minutes later, she said, "You don't know who I am?" I was like, "No, ma'am, I don't. I don't really know anybody. She said, "I'm Danny B's wife," and I was thinking to myself, "Why am I selling this merch sitting right here?" And he didn't know it, but she done showed up without him knowing it. So I don't know what the deal was, but I was like, "Man, I'm not getting in the middle of this." I said, "Do you have this?" She said, "I got this. I'm out."
So was it Miss Mary or his new wife?
I really don't remember. Man, that was in 1997, 98 maybe.
Oh, it was Miss Mary then. It was definitely Miss Mary then.
She said, "Don't worry, baby. He don't know I'm here." And I was like, "Whoa, I'm out. I'm not in the middle of this." So
he's out there checking on Danny, making sure he ain't doing nothing he ain't supposed to be doing. Dressed all nice and shit, man. You know what I mean? So look, man, Garth, talk to me about Garth.
Garth Mahoney, man, one of the funniest people you'll ever meet a day in your life. Dude is hilarious. He says the dumbest stuff at the dumbest time 24/7. But he always seems to find himself in the right position. And this is for a shoot. I don't know how this operates. He will say everything stupid at the wrong time. But at the right time, he says the right thing. I don't ever understand it. He's got a lot of potential. I will say this: if he would come to training more, he would be a lot better than what he is.
I
You know
got
what I
one
mean?
question for you, Ricky. Is he ever going to be part of Legitimately Too Good for Real, man? I've seen some of those little skits they were doing, man. They cracked me up, dude. I thought they were entertaining, man.
They are very funny, and if I could get Cody to understand the vision of this deal, as a baby face, as a dumb baby face like he is, you have to understand that if you get tarred and feathered, it's for the angle. You know what I mean? It's not to put you down.
Right.
Um, when I tell him how this angle was going to run or this vision should be or whatever I got in mind for them to do, it's not for them to look like an ass. It's for them to get sympathy and then go over as the baby faces and the blow off.
Right.
And he don't understand that. Like he does not understand the meaning of how you've got to the baby face has to start at 0 and go to 100. The heels start at 100 and you bring them to 0. When you're building up telling a story.
Right.
And when he comprehends how that works, I've even told him, I said, man, look at Batman and Joker. I said, the Joker whoops Batman's ass that whole movie. And I said, and Batman finally gets over at the end.
Right.
I
That's what I
said,
was going to say. Honestly, your baby face could be a negative. He needs to be below 0. That way he's got more to work up for. Man.
Right. And he's slowly grasping it, but at the same time, I can't give him too much because he'll be like, you know what I mean? Like, but he works out. He's lost a ton of weight. He works out all the time. He goes to the gym, and if I'm not mistaken, he works out at the same gym as Brandon Baxter. But he can do it. He's just got he has no confidence, and no matter how much confidence I put in him, he's gonna say something dumb at the wrong time every single time. But man, I'm gonna tell you something. He's a funny dude, and he would do anything for you, just like Austin would.
Right.
And he's there to put the ring up. He's there when the ring comes down. You know what I mean? And great kid. I'm hard on him because I expect more out of him. And the reason I expect more out of him is because Smitty expected more out of him. Smitty brought him to APW. Smitty tried to teach him everything. And I'm going to send you some videos, and you're going to laugh at some of these videos that I send you with Cody and Smitty riding up and down the road, going to shows and stuff like that.
Right. I can imagine, man.
Right. And he don't understand the discipline part that I have for it. You know what I mean? I don't mean discipline as in you're in trouble like you're my kid or nothing like that. I mean discipline as in let's not do that. Shut up. Sit down. Shut up. You know what I mean? There's a time to play. There's a time to be serious. And then there's a time to learn. And when you understand how to put all this together, you're going to be okay. But you can't let life interfere with what you want to do over here. You got to take care of life first and then do this. You can't have shambles over here and then expect this to be okay because it's not going to be okay.
Right.
So, I'm trying to teach him things like that. There's a lot of things I don't think he was taught as a kid coming up being raised. And that's no knock on them. It's just something that I wanted to make sure that I was taught that I can teach him.
Right.
That he could pass on to his kids and their kids, stuff like that. So,
well, life fundamentals are just like pro wrestling fundamentals. That's what everything from that point on is built upon.
100%.
And life and pro wrestling, man, they're like this, man.
Yep.
The people don't. You said it earlier. I don't think people realize how close professional wrestling and real life really is, man.
Same thing, man. It's just a different aspect. It's the same thing.
That's right, man. I agree with that 100%. And like I said, the dude is entertaining as hell, man.
Hilarious.
Yes, he's entertaining as can be. Kylo Smile.
Man, all the athleticism in the world, all the talent in the world that he could do. I don't really know how to say this, but one way. His brain is not hooked to his body.
Explain that to me, Ricky.
All right. So what I mean by that is, it's like, attention deficit disorder, ADD.
Right.
You can show him, and he can do it perfectly. His up and overs at training is phenomenal. His back rolls, his front rolls, his face bumps, his back bumps, his whatever he does is effortless and it's perfect. But if I tell him, you got to call a match with this kid, a 10-minute match with this kid right here, it's gone. It's over
Right.
with. We have no clue what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, if you can lead him every single match, that's the perfect person to put in the ring with people. And I do it all the time with him, and he puts people over, and he don't understand why he's putting people over. I'm like, you're 130-pound heel that calls people boy and stuff like that to their face.
Right.
I said, do you not understand that people really hate you? And then when people see you get beat, and they pop to the moon because you got beat, because they don't like you. They don't care who beat you. They just wanted to see somebody beat your little smart ass up. And when he understands all that, he's going to be all right too. But it's going to take longer for him to grow into it, because as a kid, his hand was held. He's never been in a fight. He's never been in an altercation where you get in a fight. No, nothing like that.
Right.
So basically, what I have there is a man body with a kid inside of that body right now.
Right.
So, and I'm not going to give up on him. By no means will I ever give up on him. And I'll never just be like, you're not welcome here no more because of that. I'm going to keep working with him until he gets it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to keep grinding on him. I'm going to keep working on him. And I'm going to keep putting him in positions to learn. I put him
Right.
against William Blackwell a few weeks ago. And before they went out there, I said, look, stretch him and kill him. And he looked at me like, what in the world? I said, tough love is some lessons that you got to learn the tough way. I said,
Right.
if he's not going to listen to me, he's going to listen to you, because you're fixing to kick the shit out of him. And that's exactly what happened. So, but yes, a very big upside.
And here's the thing. That's something that I don't think happens as much in the wrestling business as it used to. That getting in the ring with a guy, look, you run across, there's always been smart ass guys, hard headed guys that didn't want to listen. And if they wouldn't listen, what did they do back in the day? They put you in the ring with somebody that was going to make you listen, going to get your attention, going to put you in the ring with somebody that you realize that, you know, this dude kicked my ass right now. If he really wants to hurt me, he could, and I can't do nothing about it. And so, but that's what it takes for some guys for that light bulb to go off.
Right.
I mean, it just does. Everybody's learns a different way. Some people, their coach can yell at them and get on their ass and cuss them, and that motivates them. Other people are the exact opposite. They need their coach to tell them, look, man, you can do better. This is what we need to do to build them up. Everybody's different, and it's the same in pro wrestling. And I feel like that's something that's missing in wrestling, because when you have those situations, that creates that aura in pro wrestling that, hey, anything can really happen out here once that bell rings and we're in this ring. You're really not safe. Anything can happen. And that's why guys need to learn to take care of themselves for real, because if a guy wants to take advantage of you and you can't do nothing about it, you could get hurt.
Right.
You know, and I think that I've seen a lot of guys through the time that was the best practice for them. You put them in the ring with somebody who they had to respect, and once it's over, they start really then realizing what the business is about. Right. Respect. I mean, for me, it kind of still goes back to respect of the business.
Right.
You know,
100%.
You got to make these guys respect the business, whether it's in training, whether it's in the ring, wherever, one way or another. You got it, because there's a lot of guys, and I would assume now there's even more that get in the wrestling business, try to get in with the full attitude that this is all bullshit, it's all entertainment. This shit don't hurt. Nobody's going to really kick your ass. And that, to me, that hurts pro wrestling. It's kind of like going to a Mike Tyson fight. Back in the day, I mean, just as much as you wanted to see the fight, you didn't know what Mike Tyson was really going to do. Anything can happen.
Right.
Going to a Guns N' Roses concert back in the day, you didn't know if that fucking show was going to happen or Axl Rose was going to be pissed about something and never come on stage.
Right.
You just didn't know, but that's part of what draws people to it.
Yep.
And that takes us back to Johnny Dotson. I think that's how Johnny's good for the business. I don't care what nobody says. Anything draws, and they act like Johnny draws a negative light to the business. No, not whatsoever. He don't hurt the business by anything he does. He draws a lot of attention to himself.
Yeah.
But that ain't bad for the business. Everything, it ain't like, here's the thing. The thing that Johnny's most outspoken about is pro wrestling. So every time he's on a live, that whole live, 90% of it or all of it centered around pro wrestling, whether you like what the dude says or whether you don't like what the dude says. It's drawing attention. It's focusing, talking about pro wrestling, the different things, good or bad. He's good for the business.
Right.
The business the sad part is we need 10 more Johnnies that have different styles and attitudes. I mean, think if we had another Johnny that was going at Johnny, then if Derek, let's take Derek, for example. If Derek would just throw the facade away and just go straight, him and Johnny, just almost like a rap battle, do a promo off, just talk true shit to each other back and forth, people would love it, man. We would all be watching it. We 100%. Would all be watching it. We couldn't turn away. And anything that draws attention like that to the pro wrestling is good for the business, in my opinion, because like I said, honestly, the wrestling business is boring.
Right.
Around our area, we don't have that big major. We don't have that Jerry Lawler. We don't have that Bill Dundee. We don't have that Brian Christopher. We don't have none of those guys. Johnny is trying to build himself up into that guy.
Right.
And you can't hold that against Johnny, man.
And he's doing it pretty damn good.
I think so too, man. I do, man. Look, we got one more, and then if I forgot anybody, you'll have to say it. Dobie, the mask man. Talk to me about Dobie.
So Dobie is this is a fun fact. Dobie was created at the back door of the Queen of Clubs one night. Bunch of guys didn't show up one night, and CEO come up to me and said, "Man, you got a mask?" I was like, "Yeah, I do actually. It's in my bag." He said, "Next week, bring that mask." He said, "That way I have some more workers and you can work twice and yada yada yada." I said, "Okay." So the next week got there, and Tracy Smothers happened to be there that night. And I put that mask on, man, and I was working with one of them other young guys, and I got to the door right there and getting ready to go out, and the music done hit, and I done told myself, I was like, "Man, do you remember the clowns in Memphis wrestling?"
Poker Face and Rude.
Never knew who that was until Poker told me. So let me tell you something. I modeled this Dobie Doke guy after those clowns because I watched a Memphis wrestling show one Saturday morning, and them idiots was in the ring crossing. And one of them slid out and sat down in the bleachers, and the other kept running and just fell on his face. Man, that was it was great to me. So I modeled this gimmick after them. And anyway, next thing I know, man, Dobie's getting calls because, well, let me back up. Before I went out that night, my music was playing. Tracy Smothers was standing by the door with his flag. And he said, "This looks fucking stupid." And I looked at him and I said, "It is going to be stupid." He said, "Here, take this mop with you." He handed me this stinking ass mop that smelled like pure ass.
Right.
Man, I go to the ring with this mop and everybody in the crowd is popping. Like, they're all like cheering. Like, I'm kissing this mop like it's my girlfriend. Stinking God. Bless it stunk. And anyway, I get out there, man, we do the whole gimmick and I go over on the kid and I've never in my life heard a pop that loud out of, say 60 people, 50, 60 people, whatever it was.
Right.
And man, after the show, everybody was like, man, who was the dude with the mop? Who was the dude with the mop? That's kayfabe the hell out of it, And next thing I know, man, Reaper's my tag team partner, and his name's Pepe Lopez. So we're Dobie and Pepe from Tijuana, Mexico. Next thing I know, dude, we're all over in Mississippi. We're all in Arkansas, eastern Arkansas over in Helena and stuff like that. DeWitt, Arkansas, and
Right.
South Arkansas a little bit. And next thing I know, man, this cat's working damn near every weekend. And I'm just like, these folks love this shit. So we went to Bruce, Mississippi, Coffeeville, Mississippi, Holly Springs, a little bit of everywhere. And so when we started APW, I was being Dobie and myself
Right.
because I didn't have enough workers to make the whole thing. So I was making this gimmick work. So this kid come along, which is Bo Raddick's son, and I was like, this is freaking ideal. So I put him in the mask, give him the mop, and I told him, I said, here's some stuff you need to do, yada yada yada. And he's taken it and he's ran with it. He's got gimmicks built, or made, and puzzles and cups and T-shirts and hats and everything. And I told him, I said, every dollar you make off of your gimmicks, you keep. That's for you. You keep it
Right.
off. And speaking of that, March 14th, Dobie will be in Corinth, Mississippi for Bluff City Wrestling. Just throwing that out there.
That's a big deal for.
Yeah.
I think it's cool with Bluff City going to Corinth.
I do
But
too.
back on Dobie, and it's amazing some of the things that'll actually get over, right? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Absolutely.
Some shit you'd never think. You're like, nobody's gonna care about this. Is a throwaway gimmick. Go out there and people. I've been surprised so many times in my career through wrestling, and just seeing shit that you think, man, this is just a one-time thing. It's just a spot filler.
Right.
And go out there and the people fucking eat it up, man.
They love it, man. And I used to come out to like Hulk Hogan's music or the Ultimate Warrior's music or stuff like that as a gimmick. Well, he come to me one night and he's like, Ricky, I'm younger, and I think the younger kids in here would understand who iCarly is as a cartoon. So he started coming out to iCarly's music and it got bigger. Like the pops got bigger when his music would hit and he would come out. And then the other night, the developmental center from Forest City was in Mariana. And man, I put that John Cena's music on and hit it. And every one of them stood up and looked at the curtain like John Cena was coming out there. He come out of that curtain, boy, and he looked at them and he done like that. And they all just started laughing and cheering. And I was like, this is what it's all about,
Right.
So, great kid. Just turned 18. He started when he was 16. He's came a long ways. I didn't think he would ever stick with it, and he has. So, good up and coming kid. He needs to listen a little more, take initiative, and learn how to lead, and he's going to be okay.
Right. It's cool that he took what you had started and kind of seen something that could be changed and bring it more, modernize it and stuff. And it's really cool that it worked for him.
Absolutely, he has. He's earned everything he's got.
That's really cool. All right, Ricky, we're getting ready to wind it down. I don't think me and you can do a podcast that don't run 3 hours, dude. So, March 8th, talk to me about this show while I'm pulling up this graphic, man.
March 8th is the Rudder, which is named after Rudder from West Helena, which you know him. Name is Christian Williams. Christian Williams, he's been called Rudder his whole life. A good friend of mine, passed away. And the reason I call this the Rudder is because that's the Jacksonville show right there.
Oh, is this not?
No, that's the Jacksonville, Arkansas show.
Oh, okay. Damn, I got the wrong graphic, but that's just fine. Coming up, show. So talk to me about this show.
March 8th, and then I'll come back to this one right here. So, March 8th at the Civic Center in Mariana, we're gonna have Soul Taker in, and I see he's gonna be on your podcast here in a few weeks too. So,
right, man, he's a dude that a buddy of mine, Izzy High from Kick Ass Wrestling, used to be the American Kickboxer.
Right.
He when he seen that I shared your card.
Right.
And so he seen the dude on it and he hit me up and he said, man, I know this guy. And he
Right.
asked me about, what I thought about bringing him on the podcast to promote the show. And I said, hell yeah, and then I hit you up and told you that I've got an opportunity to hopefully get this guy on the show to promote the show before it happens. And I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, big soul taker. And some guy got on Facebook and he was like, "That's not the real soul taker." And I was like, "Man, I know who the real soul taker is." I said, "But this guy he's tagging with CPO and um, he's doing a lot of things with Danhausen up north, and he's doing a lot of things big, and he messaged me out of the blue and was like, "Hey man, I'd love to come down and work for you. I've been watching some of your stuff and yada yada yada, and man, you got some good stuff going on down there." And so we made arrangements, and March 8th, the Soul Taker will be in Mariana. Also, March 8th, Prince Ahmed is coming back to Mariana to the Civic Center, and Buck Skinner will be there. Nix will be there. The whole 9 yards will be there March 8th at the Civic Center in Mariana.
Look, before we go back to the 228 show, let me pull up this graphic because I do have the right graphic. I don't understand how I did that, Ricky. Let me pull up the graphic. I do. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been sick as hell for the last 2 damn days. Yeah. All right, I don't have the full graphic, but I do have. No, I think this is the same one. Okay, so we talked about March 8th, the Soul Taker, Prince Ahmed's coming back. So let's talk about 228 because I got the marquee match here that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this match right here. Geo Savage taking on Buck Skinner, man. That's a heck of a matchup, dude.
It is a heck of a matchup. It's a match that's never happened. I think they've been in the ring at the same time, but I don't think it's ever been one-on-one. This is a match right here that I know Geo was foaming at the mouth to get, and I know for a fact that Buck wanted to work Geo. And I said, well, let's just go on and make this happen right here in Jacksonville, Arkansas on February the 28th. And the reason that we're in Jacksonville, Arkansas, which is in Little Rock, basically,
right.
That's a big move for us. A buddy of mine named Joe Stute from Arkansas USSSA called me, and he was like, "Man, look," he said, "I got an autism softball tournament in the state of Arkansas with all the big wigs of slow pitch softball in the world, like the Brett Helmers and the Flip Washingtons and the Adam Usseries and the big wigs of slow pitch softball is going to be in Little Rock this weekend or that weekend." And when he called me and he was like, "You want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, it benefits Pathfinders." And I was like, "All right, enlighten me on what Pathfinders is." And he said it's a group in Little Rock. They're autistic kids. It's a home group. Big deal for them. And man, I was on board right then because if I can bring joy to anybody's heart, that's what I'm here for.
Right.
So we partnered up with Joe Stute and Arkansas USSSA and Pathfinders Incorporated to bring this show to Jacksonville, Arkansas, to the Jacksonville Community Center, which is a huge community center. I look for anywhere north of over 1,000 people to be here at this show.
Wow.
It just the traffic that it's getting, the eyes that's on it. When the main man over Easton softball, which Easton is the name brand for a bat in a
right.
sports line in baseball and softball. When the main man, his name is Brett Helmer out of New York, is backing this, like coming at me with like, "Dude, this is cool. Like this is freaking awesome, and I want to be a part of it." Right then that you've made some traction and that you're fixing to have more eyes than just a few on you.
Well, talk to me about that before we get out of here, Ricky, because that's the one thing I've noticed, man. APW seems to be branching out further and further, spreading them wings, man. What was it, a year and a half or 2 years ago? Where did y'all go to? Was it Far City or somewhere else that y'all had like a huge crowd there too?
Yeah, so last year we done the Special Olympics in Forest City, Special Olympics Area 8. We had like people from Conway and people from Lone Oak and Forest City and everywhere come in for the Special Olympics to come in and us do a show for them, man. And we had a 12-man masked battle royal. Now, any 12 masks that we could find and gimmick up and do, man, was the greatest battle royal I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that because it's my company. And I'm not, my guys were able to just let loose and do whatever they wanted to do that was comical and goofy for
Right.
these people. And man, it was a huge success for me. Man, we've been up to Greenbrier, Arkansas, which is a little north of Conway. Um, we're trying to get in Conway. I'm trying to get more shows in Jacksonville, stuff like that. But my main goal is Jonesboro, Arkansas. I know
That
that's
would
a
be
little bit of
good, man.
territory that I'm stomping in that is sort of frowned upon, but
Who the hell's running Jonesboro?
nobody. But man,
Nobody. That's
every venue I call, a certain name's attached to it, and I'm just like, okay, I get it, stuff like that. Hold on, my phone's about to die. Hold on.
see,
All
we
right,
done been on so long, we done talked your whole
my
whole
whole
charge
battery
down,
down.
Ricky,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I was going to use my laptop, and the battery was dead on it. And I was like, screw it. So,
Man, you
but
need to charge your shit up, dude.
right. But yeah, I want to get in Jonesboro for Smitty. You know what I mean? I want to have the Smitty in Jonesboro, and everywhere I've called and talked to, I was just like, man, and I don't know who's screwed wrestling up in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't know if somebody's just got a thumb on top of wrestling in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I know they do like some outside festivals and stuff like that with wrestling and stuff like that, but man, trying to rent the Earl Bell Community Center is like pulling a tooth with a cotton swab. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I can imagine, dude.
it's brutal.
Yeah. I don't think nobody's run Jonesboro on a regular basis since the early 2000s or mid 2005 or something like that, have
Right.
they?
Well, I've got a buddy that's he owns a few restaurants in Jonesboro, and he's higher up in the Booster Club with ASU and stuff like that. So I've got him helping me a little bit, trying to find me a good, decent place to go and do. But man, it's tough. Like
Yeah.
Jonesboro's hard to break into, and I don't like asking for help. You know what I mean? Like I'm very independent. I want to do everything on my own. And that may knock me a little bit for being hard headed, but at the end of the day, man, I feel like I've been successful with my ideas and Reaper and Buck and a few other guys that help me here and there with ideas that I have, but I just don't understand why I can't have wrestling in Jonesboro, Arkansas. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why it's so hard for that to happen.
You keep going after it, man. Somebody will eventually cave and you'll find somewhere to run a show in Jonesboro.
I'm hoping so because I'd really love to do the Smitty in Jonesboro, where Smitty's from.
Right. That would
That's
be
my
cool.
main goal.
Yes, that would be really cool. Look, we got After Dark with us, Big Daddy Storm. I don't know if Brody's with him. He says, "What's up, Slick Rick?"
What, Big Chad? You all right, buddy?
He says, "APW is first class."
Man, let me tell you something, Chad. I'm glad. Thank you for that. Thank you, honestly. I'm gonna tell you this though. That deal y'all got going in Coldwater, that venue is perfect. I wish I had that venue and they had a feather up their ass. We'd both be tickled. You know what I mean? Um,
Now is this the Shriners building? Is
yes,
that what it?
it's
Man,
it's an awesome place.
dude, back in the early mid '90s, we used to work at that building all the time. Tommy Lane, Rock and Roll RPM,
Yeah,
Tommy
yeah.
Lane, he used to run shows there. Motley's ran shows there. Me and my brothers actually ran a couple of shows there. I think Moondog ran a show or two there, a few shows. That is an awesome venue for wrestling, and it has had wrestling in it for 30 years, man.
Absolutely. And dude, the first night I went over there, I was highly impressed. I was like, dude, Chad has got a gold mine here. He has got a freaking gold mine here.
Yeah,
So
man, I love that building, man. Uh, Hell, that was one of the first places when I first broke in the business. That was probably the place I had my third, fourth match.
Well, the reason I'm going back to Corinth March 14th is that's the very first place I ever had a wrestling match was in Corinth, Mississippi, with that idiot Johnny Dotson. So it's only fitting that I go back and work for Johnny Dotson March 14th in Corinth, Mississippi. So
You
yeah,
better watch that. You better watch your mouth, Ricky. We get off here, Johnny will be live talking about you, man.
he can't talk about me because he knows good and well I'll fire back.
So, dude, it has been a pleasure having you. It always is. Like I said, I don't think we can get together without doing 3 hours, man.
Right, right.
Man, it was my pleasure and an honor, and I appreciate you so much for letting me be part of the Smitty, dude.
Well,
that was my first taste of APW, and man, look, dude, I was highly, highly impressed, man.
I'm gonna say this: October 4th, it's back. So mark that on your calendar, October 4th. If not, we're gonna get together sooner than that too. But October the 4th, the Smitty's right back in West Memphis. So
there you go,
I'll
second
throw that
annual.
little tidbit out there. So October the 4th, we're back in West Memphis for the Smitty, and man, I got some stuff up my sleeves. I got a few emails out, and see if we can't make it even better this year than it was last year.
Hey, man, I thought it was great last year for the first run of it.
Yes.
I think it'll be better this year, man.
I agree.
I do. I love that venue in West Memphis.
It's great. It's awesome.
It is. It's clean. It's nice.
The Civic Center in Mariana is the same way. It's huge, but the Civic Center in Mariana is carpet. It's all carpet, and it's very nice on the inside. It's man, that Civic Center is A1, but the guy just bumped up the rent $250 on me, and I just cannot. It was already a little steep, and now,
Right.
Yeah. So I talked to the guy at the Boys and Girls Club, and that's where we're going to do it at. So
I think that's good, man. I can tell you this. Last year, me and Sam debated on whether to start a wrestling show. You know,
yeah,
somewhere around Dresden here. And man, I went to checking out buildings and rent for buildings. Dude, the same buildings back in mid 2000 you'd pay $200 for, or 5 and 6 and 7 and even higher. And it was just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's hard to make money on the independent level unless you guaranteed you're gonna draw 4, 5, 600
right.
people, you know.
It's hard to draw in this part of the world where wrestling's not big in Eastern Arkansas. You know what I mean? Like, wrestling's known around Eastern Arkansas, but man, wrestling's not like it is like man, when I would go to the Earl Bell Community Center, that place was packed.
Right.
You know. I just, which I know wrestling crowds are down now a little bit, but still at the same time, why can't we build them back up? And that's my focus. You know, I want to get wrestling built in Eastern Arkansas to where I want to do wrestling at the college at PC down in Helena. You know, they just remodeled their whole gym.
Dude, the last time I think that I know wrestling was there, I was probably 6 years old, man. Right. Lawler, the main event turned out to be Jerry Lawler versus Coco Ware. And that place was fucking, I mean, there wasn't even no room to stand. There were people that couldn't even get in.
Right.
I'm a little kid, and where we were sitting, I don't know if it's like that now, but there was one of they had these poles that went up to the ceiling. I happened to land right in the seat where the pole is centered. So I'm either over here or over here. But man, I hadn't heard of, has wrestling been there since then?
No, and they just redone the gymnasium, brand new basketball court, everything on the inside of that gym has been redone, and now PC's actually got their own, you know, Division One, not Division One, what's it called, junior college basketball team again. You know,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they just had the national champs from like Jackson, Mississippi, or somewhere in this past week, last night, as a matter of fact, and I think we could get wrestling there and get it advertised down in Helena, and maybe draw us a crowd down there.
man, like I said, it was packed to the gills that night. Of course, that was in the heyday of Memphis wrestling too.
Right.
But dude, I would love to see y'all get in there, man. I think it'd be cool. It'd be a step up.
Yeah.
It'd be a step up, man. Ricky, dude, thank you so much. Man, it's been my pleasure. And man, I wish you and APW and all the crew, man, all the best luck in the future, man. I want to see you guys branch out more and spread them wings. And here's the thing. It's guys like you that can bring wrestling back.
Right.
Talk about why can't we bring it back? It's because we need more promoters just like you.
I try, man. I try. And I appreciate the kind words right there. That means a lot to me.
Dude, man, it's been my pleasure, Ricky. And man, I'm gonna do like Johnny. I started to just cut you off, man. Ricky, no, for real though, dude. Look, I can't wait to come back. I can't wait for the Smitty. If that's the next time I get to come to an APW show, cannot wait, dude. I am looking forward to it right now, my friend.
I got you, Bush. I appreciate you having me on, my man. I enjoyed the talk a lot.
I did too, man. Ricky, you take it easy.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, guys, you seen it right there. Ricky Kennedy, man. APW. Go check this company out if you get a chance to. Anywhere you get a chance to go see them, go check them out. Man, like I said at the beginning, well-organized, professional, action-packed pro wrestling is APW. Do not miss it. Big Daddy Storm's back with us. Says, great job, Buster Storm. Thank you. Hey, anybody wants to go see reactions, go check out Storm. Go check out After Dark. Is it with the boys? Man, Storm reacts to everything. Does a little bit of everything. You get a little wrestling, a little music, a little fighting. You don't know. He does so much reaction, I can't even keep up with him. But go check out his website. I got him and Brody Hawk coming on here. Let me look right quick. Let me just see when. I want to say it's March 12th is exactly when it is. It's a Wednesday night, March 12th. You do not want to miss that show because these two guys, they don't have no filter, no governor, and there's no telling what they're going to say, and people don't like them anyway. They're heat magnets. So tune in, Storm. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Before we get out of here, I want to promote the AHCW show in Campbell, Missouri. Once again this Saturday night, and then after that, we're going to promote my upcoming podcast, and I'm going to let y'all go, man. I've kept y'all here for 3 hours.
Catch all the hard-hitting action of American Hostile Championship Wrestling as they make their return to Campbell, Missouri, February 8, 2025. That's at the Community Center, located on Highway 62. Doors open at 6:30. Bell time is 7:30. Superstars such as Bullwhip Ballard, the Missouri Heavyweight Champion, Savage Brotherhood, the King Superstar Johnny Dotson, Justin Main Event along with Miss Hyde, Legitimately Too Good, Steel Cross, Austin the Reaper Polo, and making his very first appearance for American Hostile Championship Wrestling, Lionel Gilks III. All that, February 8, 2025, Campbell, Missouri. Be there.
All right, guys, do not miss it. I'll be there. Savage Brotherhood will be there. Bullwhip Ballard will be there. Johnny Dotson, Legitimately Too Good. Justin Main Event, Miss Hyde. I know I'm missing somebody. It slipped my mind. I can't even think of who. Tons of talent going to be there. AHCW, just like APW, one of the best professional wrestling companies around our area. If you're anywhere close to there, close to Campbell, Missouri, go check it out. Guys, we're going to promote these upcoming podcasts, and then I'll get back with you and I'll let you.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just hold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes.
All right, guys, you seen it right there. Got a bunch of cool podcasts coming up through March. Here about mid-February here, I'm going to start adding April's and probably May's to that list. Got a bunch of really cool guests coming up, from older pro wrestlers to guys just starting out and everywhere in between. Do not miss it. I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight, everybody who interacted with us. We're back Sunday. I'll be back this Sunday night at 8 p.m. with the Independent motherfucking Heroes. You heard me right. The Independent fucking Heroes. I got Steel Cross, Alex and Ethan. I got the coolest dude in the room, Mike Reels. And I got everybody's hero, Jet Hero, coming Sunday. And obviously, anytime Jet's on, it's a show you do not want to miss. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.